And welcome to the 10th installment of the Jonesin on the Whim podcast.
Yes.
We're back in the North Estate Studios in the basement. Number 10, so
Take that.
Yes.
figured we'd start with
Episode X.
Pearl Jam 10, newly remastered. Not that version, but so
Newly remastered.
Wow.
So,
they re-released.
has it been remastered
Redigitalized
before, or
it. Yes, no, it was a remastering of the remastered original. They're not going to release
5.1,
anything
I mean, what-
unmastered,
Oh, right.
so they have to,
It's masterful.
update it, every so many years. But if you're listening, we love you. There's only, I think there might be less than 7. I've said 7 for a time now. I'm getting no feedback. I'm getting no love. I'm losing faith,
What?
to be honest.
It's the middle of the summer.
Football season will save us, I believe. But I'm dwindling here. It's not like that I work hard on this, but
Not at all.
really, honestly, I don't.
Speak for yourself.
But, yeah. So we got the page on Facebook. None of you seem to like it because you don't, quote, like it.
Do you want another beer or something? Wait.
But, last week I tried controversy. This week I'm going to try hate.
Okay.
But we have Twitter handles. You know them, whatever. Who cares? No fake sponsor this week because if I can't get a viewership or a listening-ship, I certainly can't get a sponsor.
Well, you know what
So
people
I-
normally do, though? People lie about their viewership to get more sponsors, and we're telling on ourselves at the beginning of the show, so that's why it's hard to get sponsors.
Mm.
So we gotta learn how to fake this up.
I've tried.
We're gonna do it.
Anyway, so as we do every time with the first segment, we need to get through this because there's a lot of shit going on, and now I'm cursing now. Fuck it. Maybe we can get some goddamn viewers.
Episode
I'm
10.
tired of being
Taking the glove off.
PG and G and all that shit. It's on now.
Take it.
So we're going into the mistakes because I do fuck up at times. And,
It doesn't look like you fucked up much, though.
no, not at all that
Yeah.
time. And we looked we were heavy researching as we did it, and we're now into football. So there's a lot of shit we don't know. There's a lot of shit that we don't know. If you double negative, so
Just did.
I did call Bryce Parker, but I fixed that. I also said he was with the Reds, and I obviously know both of those are fucking untrue.
Yeah.
So my bad.
He is
Who
with
gives
the-
a shit?
He is with the Nationals.
Yes. I mentioned Andy Murray won the doubles title at Wimbledon. He didn't. There's a Johnny Murray. They said Murray on the goddamn pod, the goddamn broadcast of the goddamn men's finals. So say it's John, or Johnny, not Andy.
Johnny Murray.
So it didn't, who gives a shit? Fuck him. J.R. Smith, he had a playoffs with the Knicks. He declined it, but the Knicks have since resigned him. 2-year deal. He's back. He's even been to summer league games supporting the young fellas over there.
What about
Eric Dampier is still alive. He played with the Hawks. I'm not sure about his living now, but he did play last year in the NBA. Atlanta Hawks, Eric Dampier.
He played.
Big. Yeah, he actually did. Like 70 games. And Shaq did play on an Olympic team in '96. That's enough about Shaq.
Well, he was in Atlanta. That means he was going to strip club. I
Right.
I thought he went to one that was overseas. So
No,
I was
and he
like,
played '94 with the US, whatever those other
he
games
went to
are.
them. Maybe they
The Worlds, or whatever they call that.
Yeah,
Sam,
we won them both, I think, despite his lack of just his.
Well, he probably just elbowed and booty bumped because he was the MVP.
So his
in the
NBA
international.
career,
Yeah,
basically.
back in '96.
In '94, he was the MVP or whatever of the international thing in '94. So it was booty bump.
Oh,
festival.
was he?
Yeah, it was booty bump festival then. You know that.
We unleashed Bigfoot on him, and they go, "Holy shit, Bigfoot!" And then they just was able to speak kind of and dunk on people.
I like to call him Shaq Squatch.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Did
Hey.
if I had the soundboard up, but
3 or 4 years ago, you would have got paid.
trombone.
He might still be playing though, so I'm glad you didn't come with that.
Mm-hmm.
so the second segment every week is the 51-second segment. A lot of stuff's happened in the Big Easy. Well, the biggest thing, but actually, I don't even want to talk about it. We probably won't get into it. So I'll just go into this segment. The Chumbawamba broke up, right? This is newsworthy, right? It's not.
I think so.
But that's why it's in 51 seconds of a segment. That's it, really.
Well, it's newsworthy that they lasted that long. I mean,
That somewhere it says 30 years.
yeah. Although, I mean, if you're a band that's not really popular anymore, and you just don't break up, you're just not playing, you're not making albums. I mean, maybe they just never made it official. I don't know if they were releasing albums all the time or.
As Chumbawamba.com, they released a statement with neither a whimper, a bang, or a reunion. 30 years of ideas and melodies, endless meetings and European tours, press releases, sing-along, which is one word I didn't know, choruses, and da-da sound poetry finally at an end.
Okay.
The band had remained relatively inactive in recent years, although they performed and recorded the soundtrack to Big Society musical, whatever. It's all British stuff. I'm not against that. I just didn't know that they'd been together 30 years. I didn't know they were 30. This is them in the late 90s, looking not old. So,
Yeah.
that concludes the 51-second segment. That might closer than last week on the actual 51 seconds. We are still recording, which is good because this is take 2
That's always good.
those of y'all at home. And so
I had so many zingers and then we weren't recording. Now it's just meh.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we do our top 11 every week, and we're in the meat of football season. So,
Preseason.
Pre-season for us.
I said the meat last time. I wanted to make that a correction, but we're in the meat of the itch of
Preparation
football
of
season.
football
Yeah.
season, yes.
Last week we did the AFC West. This week we'll do the NFC West, and just as much a weird division as the AFC West. A lot of it's remained the same as in the AFC West. It's changed a bit from the last year's midseason to how it's currently constructed. So we'll do 2 questions on each team, and again our fantasy question, our MVP section, and who we think will win the division in last, second, third. So first question this week. We'll start with San Francisco because they're honestly the only team really worth mentioning as far as if they have a chance. I say that now, and we'll see. You never know in the NFL.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with all the wide receiver acquisitions that San Francisco's made, will they pay off, and will they help Alex Smith repeat his success from his 2011 season?
You got to think yes. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot to work with last year. I mean, Davis had a good season, but
Career season.
Yeah, it's got to be at least as good as last year, I would think. But
Well, he had 17 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and he averaged under 28 pass attempts a game.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's not like they weren't relying on
it's efficient though. He wasn't going like 12 and 12. 17 and 5 is a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, but if you have enough playmaker type receivers where a random 10-yard slant turns into a 40-yard, what the hell? And this team is already going to be sitting on good field position most of the game. That's going to take them from winning games 17-6, and they're going to be kicking people in the ass when they play somebody bad. Like I think it has to pay off because they're just so much more talented. It's not like they're going to need them as much as like a worse team would, but it has to pay off. Now, it just depends on whether Alex Smith is somewhere taking a shit or whether he's ready to play or not. And I'm assuming he has to be ready to play.
And that's the thing. The acquisitions are, they brought in Randy Moss. We don't know. Mara Manningham, we have an idea, but he's never been in the spotlight. They drafted A.J. Jenkins. They overdrafted him. First-round pick, but he's like a third-round pick. And receivers from the Big Ten tend to suck. So LaMichael James is a nice toy. And Jim Harbaugh is going to want to throw the football. Look at what he did at Stanford. They used the passing game a lot more. I think it's going to hurt them. I think he's going to 5 interceptions. He's got to fall back from that. Mm-hmm. They're going to throw more. They have a stable of backs to rely on. But I think Harbaugh's going to be interested in using these weapons. And I don't think Alex Smith's a guy that can use them.
Yeah,
I really don't. I see a fallback, and they won 13 games last year. We'll get into what they'll finish with. I think that takes a step back, and defenses will take him a lot more seriously because they thought he was a joke for almost 8 years. I mean, 6, 7 years.
Been that long? Yeah.
He's 04, I think, first overall pick. His mobility's there. He's the best quarterback against the blitz. He was statistically last year, and I think teams will, after a year of film on that, they'll drop back. They won't blitz as much. That's what I hated in the NFC Championships. Why were we blitzing the guy who was great under those pressure situations? Because he just flung it, and obviously our secondary is what it is. But they'll drop people in coverage more. Vernon Davis is not going to have the season he had a year ago, which is, again, an overstatement because he had a great season. So I think they're going to struggle this year. The defenses will have caught up to what they're trying to do. They leaned in the running game a lot last year. There'll be a lot of 8 in the box, but the 4 cover guys will be in coverage, not blitzing as much, and they're going to run into some problems. It will. I don't think these acquisitions will pay off. I think it will actually hurt them. He was comfortable in that offense as it stood. They put all these weapons around him. Harbaugh and himself will feel they need to use them.
Well, and not to get too deep into it, their schedule this year
it's bad.
They got at Saints during Thanksgiving, loss. They also got to play the Giants, and then they got the AFC East and the NFC North. Those are some good secondary.
They get 6 gimmies because of that division, but outside of the division, it's tough. And the people the teams in the division are getting. They got to get better at some point.
2 out of 3 of those, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's true that wide receivers switching teams often do struggle in that new scheme. It takes some time to adjust.
And rookies and a guy who didn't play a year ago. It's all new parts. And Crabtree, we didn't mention they're existing. These aren't guys who have ever shown us anything.
Yeah. But, I don't know how much it'll actually impact the team. I mean, you may not see as clean a sheet, for Smith this season, but I just, he's so good.
That's the next. I just
gotta believe they're gonna go with smart money, and the smart money is to lean on the defense because that's still where the strength is, and just
I'm going on Harbaugh's temptation to use these. They acquired these weapons for a reason. Yeah. He wants to open it up to some degree.
Yeah,
and I think that's gonna bite him in the ass, but they'll still win the division probably. I mean, we'll get to that, like I said, But as you alluded to, and it's a good segue, their defense. Is it the best defense in the NFL? And they statistically were 4th overall in total yards.
Yeah.
And they were over 15 yards better than anyone in the league against the run. 77 yards a game against the run.
That's where it starts. If you're awesome against the run, then
And they return just about everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't run, it's hard for you to score. And if the offense is a little bit better, then that helps. But we kind of disagree on that. But they got talent everywhere. They got youth. They got a lot of things that you need to have a good defense. So who's competing with them, I guess, is where we got to start the conversation. Like
Baltimore, Houston.
Yeah.
They had better depth. There's no depth on this defense. They were lucky last year. Yeah. Only one injury, and that was to the middle linebacker Patrick Willis, who is their best player on defense. But they brought the guy who filled in was just as good. Yeah. So they were lucky with injuries a year ago.
And
zero
and
injuries.
That doesn't always happen.
Yeah,
at all. But
Houston had 2 big injuries. And we're still, and it's not for me to sing the praises of the Houston Texans.
Yeah, please.
At all. But it's Baltimore, Houston, they're better defenses. Their secondaries are better. They were lucky. And they're lucky they get 6 games against 3 remedial offenses.
It'll be interesting.
And they're unlucky they don't get to play against their own.
Yeah, but they
offense.
Yeah, but they got offenses. We're going to see this year because they got some offenses that are going to spread it out.
And we lit them up for 500-plus yards. And turnovers were their biggest key a year ago. They were tied for the league lead in turnovers.
Yeah.
And that doesn't. We were when we won the Super Bowl, and it's been away. It went away immediately.
Yeah.
So those things aren't consistent as they are, and Baltimore's right. It's not, and that was their biggest thing. They still gave up yards in the passing game. They were 4th overall, but in the passing game, they were in the second half of the league.
Yeah, 16.
And their secondary, and their secondary is not very
they're
good.
Ahead in a lot of games too. So
and then some
teams are forced to pass.
And then in some of those situations, you get those teams that are like, well, we know we can't run on them, so let's not even try.
Right.
So, but we'll see. It's close. I think that's about right for the 3 teams. I'm scared of the Texans, but we'll talk about that when we talk about it because they kind of got casual with who they let leave. So we'll see. In Baltimore, Ed Reed's bringing his yearly, I don't know if I'm a play or not thing, and it's like,
he's coming
I'm
back.
assuming
Ray Lewis
is
shows
gonna
up
show
with a
in his
knife.
house.
Yeah, with a knife. They'll be back. No, he'll be back. But no, they are one of the top 5 units, and they will be as long as injuries don't. Because if you look at that depth, I promise you've heard of no one. You've heard of no one beyond the first team. I haven't. I mean, I'm looking at it
now.
Yeah,
it's
there's
not.
no one, and the secondary is either old or old. So, or just Terrell Brown. Who is that?
I want to click on it, but let's see.
Yeah, they're top 5 unit, but the best they can be, and in that division statistically they may be, but they're probably not the best defense in football. And it's an overrated secondary, so we'll see. And if they start to use these weapons, start to throw turnovers,
and then you put that,
and then you're in a hole. You're on the wrong side of the field. These are all what ifs, but
I can't wait to see how many wins you give San Francisco this year, Harold.
they win in the division.
Well, that's not a stretch.
Yeah, as you pointed out, they
Right.
got 3 shitty teams in their division.
Right. Yeah.
I think you're just pissed they beat y'all in the playoffs last year.
I'm really not. I'm not at all.
You were totally pissed.
I was pissed at losing, of course, but it wasn't because of their defense. We lit up over 500 yards.
No,
we
yeah.
scored at will.
That was a really unusual game for them,
Right.
In that they couldn't stop the other
But
team.
we kept blitzing. That's my point. Is you don't blitz a quarterback who was statistically been proven that he's best against the blitz. Why are we blitzing? Sit back and of course I was pissed off, but I'm not holding it against them. I've rooted for the 49ers for the last 10 years. I just don't think their defense, they're not the best defense in football. Are they one of the best? Sure, they're not the best. Patrick Willis is a guy I wanted us to draft. I love their defense.
Yeah.
We lost that football game. They didn't win it. We turned the ball over 5 times on the road and still should have won the game. We lost with 11 seconds left.
Yeah.
So I understand you would see me as holding a grudge, but
I do.
and that's fine.
You said see you like there's no way you could be
I can see that.
But you got points. I mean, you got points
Right.
to look at. But
It's not like I'm just hating. I'm backing it up.
They
But you
went
said
up-
this was the podcast of 8.
Yeah.
Right.
So
fair enough.
it kind of fits. But
Not for
getting-
them, but for our lack of fans.
Yeah, but them getting them getting Marshall
And Alden
Manningham-
Smith, what's his name? He's already stabbed like 40 times. Who knows if he was their best pass rusher? I don't even know. It's whatever the guy, the defensive end who got stabbed 40 plus times and was in the hospital. I mean, and Justin Smith's old as us, so it's Alden Smith. It's a right outside linebacker.
Yeah.
But I do credit them. They're a top 5 defense. They will be as long as Patrick Willis is the middle linebacker. He's the best middle linebacker in football. Sorry, Ray, don't come stab me. But it's not hate. It's just they have no depth. I mean, Ricky Jean Francois is the only guy I've heard of because he played at LSU. And they drafted him late when they got him. So
Yeah.
they might need to bring Singletary back to do a little depth.
We'll see. Well, if this is the podcast of hate, we need to go to this next question. That's what we need to do.
Well, no, and before we're gonna get on to Arizona.
It's gonna be this time.
It's hard to ever get Art to admit, but he's got a love for this team. I don't
Now you know.
I don't know if it was Kurt Warner driven because he's gone and he's still.
Sweet Kurt Warner. Yes.
I mean, I don't know if that was why, but it hasn't died. And I understand the Larry Fitzgerald love.
That's what it is.
And that I get. That makes sense.
That's it.
But who's going to throw the football to him?
Kermit the Frog, it doesn't matter.
Right. No, but apparently it has. And this is number 3 question. Is this Kevin Cobb's last chance in Arizona? And then will he be named? Who's going to be the starter?
Well, let me refute. 80 catches, 1,400 yards last year with who done it and what for throwing the ball to.
I like John Skelton, though. So I think they have a quarterback. That's my answer to that question.
Kevin Cobb, they're sticking him out there because they gave him all the money, and that's going to be one of those situations. They're going to stick him out there, but he had a I'm tired of getting hit look on his face, and it was week 3 last year. Mm-hmm. And then he started getting hurt, and then that money started talking to him, like, I got to get out here, come making all this money. And, we were hating on him before they stuck him out there. Like, I don't know if you wanted to hang your hat on a guy that's been slinging it in games that the games he started, people threw his stat lines up, but they need to put his win-loss up there, too, because they were losing those games.
Yeah.
And getting blown out in some of those games because he was a joke in the first half.
Skelton's got a much better win-loss record.
True.
Yeah, statistically, last season they were like virtually identical.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, they're throwing so much money at Cobb, it's like they got to.
But win-loss, Skelton, they won when Skelton played.
Yeah, so, but you invest that much money in a guy, you got to put him out there until he fails, and then it's on him when he gets got rid of. Like, oh, he didn't produce, not like
Well, we had all this money sitting on the bench because we knew we screwed up, but we wanted to hold on to him just in case.
Teams don't like to admit that sort of thing.
Well, and that's the thing is, wasn't that Wisenhunt's first big move when he became the head coach? Didn't he trade for him? I believe.
Oh yeah.
If it would have happened before he was there, Cobb would be gone. Yeah. It's a pride thing. You don't just cut your bait because of you made this move, and that's the difference in a lot of other places where they can get rid of quarterbacks because they didn't pay all this money for them. This wasn't their idea,
right?
But it was Wisenhunt's idea, I believe, to bring him over, and that's why it's been delayed.
And I think everybody was with it too. I mean, so people looked at it and said, "Oh, well, this is a good idea. This will work. No issues. Let's go." And then it's like.
And all these receivers that have been around Larry have left. Bruston's left, Bolden's left. They're all leaving. It's like I don't want to go down with this ship with you.
Well,
and it's the easiest gig in the world to be opposite Larry Fitzgerald.
I was just gonna say Larry is getting people paid. That's
right. And
he's getting people paid to roll out, and then they show up wherever they go, and it's like.
And early through set's only still there because he can't stay healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cobb's career stats before he went to Arizona: 11 touchdowns, 14 picks. I mean, and I seem to remember thinking, "This is a pretty good quarterback," when he would fill in.
Because we watched him at U of H.
Well, okay.
He was
point taken.
Dominant.
But even at Philly, when Arizona signed him, it was like, "Ooh, that's a lot of money," but it didn't seem that outlandish at the time to me.
Right, and he was a bit taller than I thought he was, about 6'3", I think.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was like a Kevin, the guy who was at U of H last, who's with the Texans now. But I don't know. He's a mobile guy. He's an athletic guy.
Case Keenum.
That's it. Yeah. But he's a little guy. Mm-hmm. He won't make it in the NFL, but. Canadian League, he'd be dominant.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I think Skelton's the better player. He's less tarnished, I guess, from failing. I don't know. Andy Reid doesn't just get rid of quarterbacks like that, and especially after Donovan was gone, and to lean on Vic, I kind of hold Andy Reid. To that move, and he hadn't shown me, and Kevin Cobb hasn't really shown me anything in Arizona. I honestly think some weeks, depending on who they play, I could play quarterback for that team, and because of Larry Fitzgerald, because they had Bolden at the time, because Kurt Warner was successful there. I don't want to get into that, but Hall of Fame, I hope not.
Hey,
but
sweet Kurt Warner, man, come on.
But Kurt Warner thinks Kevin Cobb will be the starter there. I think it's Skelton. I see something in him. He's 6'6". They've won with him. They seem better prepared when he's under center. They're gonna try. They're gonna try their best to have Cobb win that job. Mm-hmm. But I think it will be Skelton. Beanie Wells is coming off an injury, shocking, which is always hurt. But
he managed to have 250 carries.
He's an incredible running back.
At 1,000 yards last.
When he's healthy, hashtag that's 50% of the time.
50?
Right. And so he whoever the quarterback ends up being, he'll be a big part of their success.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. Fitzgerald, at this point, he's in it for the money, and I think he openly admitted today he's on the downside of his career.
Of his career or
his
Cardinals
Didn't you
career?
mention
He said
that?
Cardinals career.
Cardinals career. So he's like, I'm going to have a life after Arizona here.
I hope so.
That's the way I read it.
And on to the other side of the football. This one this one probably threw you out for a loop, just because I didn't know a lot about the young fella that they drafted. But with the tandem of Patrick Peterson and Jamel Fleming, the Arizona Cardinals have the best young duo at quarterback in the NFL. And Jamel, I think they picked him in the 3rd round this year. And out of Oklahoma, who tends to put some defensive talent into the league.
Sure.
He'll likely be their nickel or dime back going into this season. And Peterson does bring so much in the return game, breaking records for punt returns in a season or tying records in a single season. And he has improved in the coverage game. But there are better duos. But it's one to put on your radar. And this is the duo that I will say is better. Does include a rookie. It is another corner from LSU. It's Brandon Carr it's Dallas's duo of Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne. They're both very good. They'll both start. Brandon Carr might be the best cornerback in the NFL that people don't know about. And but I'll put them first. But this Arizona tandem will be fun to watch going forward. Yeah. And this defense needs to improve.
And people will be throwing on them. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean because they're young, and the book is you can beat
Peterson got his Peterson got his share of targets.
You get torched occasionally, and but there's a lot of promise there, obviously. So
they do the incumbent's Greg Toller, but I think they added William Gay from the Steelers, who I think will probably get the starting nod.
Yeah, he probably would. Yeah.
Over
Fleming.
Yeah, and both of them over Toller and Fleming.
Yeah, probably so.
So it was just a who's who, and just to look out for those two guys. Peterson will certainly be why, if you do draft the Arizona defense at all, he'll be the reason, or weak substitution. Yeah. But
drafting the Arizona defense.
But Jamel Fleming, just watch out. He if he doesn't get the starting job, he'll
nickel.
He'll be nickel or dime, and he's a talent. OU. I don't like to give them credit for much, but they're kind of like any Big 12 school where
they're
the guys do well in college, and then we'll see. It's a smorgasbord of failures and talent and success.
Smorgasbord.
Once they get into the pros,
it's hard to tell.
Right?
Yeah, Adrian Peterson, pretty good.
Yeah, well,
and he finally had it.
And you know me, I don't like giving OU credit either.
Yeah, he's good when he's healthy. Or not, getting jumped by cops in Houston. And he didn't. From what I understand, that was none of him. It was all.
He was probably just stationary.
Shocking HPD is crooked.
I don't believe that.
Right? No, it would never be something I would sign off on.
How dare you?
Right. So enough of the Arizona Cardinals. The Saints do start them and the Saints do start the preseason Hall of Fame game. I believe it's August 4th. That's in your Canton, Ohio. I don't know why we have to start it.
That's coming up.
Yeah, it is. A couple of weeks. We've shored up our roster for the next however many years. But we'll move on to the Rams, who cost us a Super Bowl a year ago. How quickly can the hiring of Jeff Fisher have an impact on the success of the St. Louis Rams?
Now look,
that's number 5.
I like Jeff Fisher, but there's issues. Like a complete devoid of talent in a lot of places where you kind of need to have some sort of talent. Maybe
like quarterback?
That's too early for a segue.
We'll get to that.
That's too early for a segue.
We'll get to that. That sounds like number 6.
Yeah, too early for a segue. Yeah, Jeff is water to wine. He can do that. I think he can right the ship and get them online, but they're still going to need a couple more bad seasons to draft some more talent to be worth anything. Because they're in a division where, the best team has gotten a little bit better in places, and the two middle-of-the-road teams are just better. So you're talking 2 and 4.
49ers won a lot of close games last year. They're coming back to us. They will.
They're winning that division maybe by a
well, they can win the division blindfolded.
They might win it by a double up.
I still don't.
Like they might win
by November.
They might win 10 games, and the other teams might only win.
Well, that's what they're going to win. But
they're going to win 10 or 11 and double up. So this team is bad, man. Jeff Fisher can't save everything.
I don't think they're as bad as you think.
Yeah, I think they were definitely really bad last year, and they've kind of been going the wrong direction, it feels like. But, I mean, Fisher's got so much credibility with players. I mean, him coming on the scene into that, cesspool of a team, I got to think that's really going to impact the locker room. They're like, oh, shit, we're playing for Jeff Fisher now. So there will be enthusiasm, but will it be a good record?
Well, and in this division, I think they can win some games. And again, we're going to beat that horse because it's a legitimate horse. It's not dead. It's not a dead horse yet.
Right.
And you're right about Jeff Fisher. He is a player's coach. He brought over a couple guys that Cortland Finnegan and William Hayes that he has played with in the past.
Uh-huh.
So they'll infuse his beliefs, his enthusiasm, and the defense will certainly be better because he'll be the defensive coordinator. Greg Williams is suspended indefinitely.
Right.
I mean,
also known as forever.
Right. So he will be the defensive coordinator. The offense, they did lose Brandon Lloyd, but they still have Steven Jackson. Who is the center point of that offense, and
they weren't really using Lloyd anyway.
Because they need to fix the quarterback position, and and that again,
Segway.
right?
Segway.
But they're building the right way. The defense they took a step back last year. The year before last, this was an 8-8 team playing that final week,
chance to win the division,
to win the division and go to the playoffs and beat the Saints. So, which Seattle ended up doing.
Yeah.
But they're not that far away. There's more talent than I would even want to acknowledge, especially on defense, and that's Fisher's where he can impact his team the most.
His raison d'etre.
And Spagnuolo, I have to be positive about because he's now our defensive coordinator in New Orleans. But Spagnuolo just had too much on his plate, and he'll have a little bit more than
a lot of lousy coaches are good coordinators.
They're great, exactly.
Wade Phillips.
Right.
There you go.
And as much grief as Brian Schottenheimer got in New York, he's the offensive coordinator now in St. Louis. And he can, if he made Mark Sanchez tolerable and decent, he might. I mean, Sanchez is a much better talent than Sam Bradford.
Yes.
Again, that's my opinion. A lot of people will disagree, and that's fine. I just don't like American Indians on the center for my football team. But
that's not racist at all.
No, not at all. And Sanchez is a Mexican. He's got to be, right? It's Sanchez. But,
clearly.
Right. So.
Handshake.
But I think he'll impact it. One, because, like y'all mentioned, he is a player's coach. Two, that defense was a lot better than it played a year ago.
Yeah, but
and three, they're in the NFC West.
Yeah, how quickly?
What a disaster.
How quickly, though? I mean, I'm still saying a couple. Maybe 2 years.
This is why they'll only win 4 games next year, if that. Sam Bradford said their quarterback. And is he the answer? And I'll answer. This is number 6. No, he's a dumpster fire.
I thought we were cussing. Hell no.
Because he's a dumpster fire. He's cross-eyed.
Oh, yeah, and he's still hurt, too.
Well, he's hurt because he sucks. He's hurt with shittiness. It's a permanent injury of crap.
They're announcing, like, hey, my ankle still hurts. It's mid-July.
I need excuses because I'm garbage.
That is such a bad sign.
That is a horrible sign.
A nagging injury.
But I think but I don't think Jeff will have a problem throwing him off the bridge.
And this is what the difference is with Ken Wisenhunt and this situation. Yeah. Jeff Fisher didn't bring this goofy bastard here. He can cut ties like that.
He didn't pay him $50
No,
million.
he doesn't have to pay whatever they have to pay when they cut his poor ass. It's over. It's done. He'll suck again, and that's it. He's not the answer. Neither is Kellen Clemens or Tom Brandstater, but that's why he will be upright for 16 games, even when he tries to fake jackass injuries from sucking so bad. But no, he's not the answer. And that will be their biggest red flag until, they won't win until they get a quarterback.
Yes.
Because Brandon Lloyd left without... Of course, he went to the Patriots and Tom Brady, but he wanted to leave. He got traded, and you never saw a man happier. He did a whirlwind of media interviews, and get me the hell out of here. This is a disaster. Their quarterback is making some kind of porridge that's supposed to heal my wounds. He's a goddamn American Indian. It's not a quarterback.
So we're back again to that.
Yes. We're not mixing potions, and we're trying to quarterback an NFL football team. Sam Bradford can't do that. He's not the answer. God, I feel bad for Jeff Fisher.
Don't feel bad for Jeff Fisher.
No,
he'll fix it.
Yeah.
in a couple years, we'll be saying, yeah, they did get better. They took a little bit of what they have and got something out of it, which is what Jeff does.
It's a lot to be the worst quarterback in this division.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The worst one that's in danger of starting. Yeah. The worst one that's in danger of starting. And he's probably going to start.
Well, Colin Clemens, Kubiak didn't want anything to do with him. Kubiak he takes up smorgasbord.
I said that might have been a good sign.
Right. Yeah.
That might be good for Clemens.
Tom Brinstad, I don't know who the hell you are. David Austin Davis. Thought I was a basketball player.
Austin Rivers.
It's a hybrid of Austin Davis and our 2 first-round picks.
Oh, yeah, Kentucky guy.
Yeah.
All right. Anthony Davis.
Yeah. And Austin Rivers.
Yes,
but there's no Rivers. But anyway, that team's a joke. I love Jeff Fisher, and I hope if anybody can fix it, he can.
At least a couple years.
And that's why he took the job to have fun with it.
It's a project.
It is, and look what he did with Tennessee, just like that. Sorry, Oiler fans. He was coach here like their first year, and then a year or so later they were in the Super Bowl. But quarterback was a big reason there. And
open up the playbook.
And Sam Bradford's not that guy. I'm sorry. And the team who overdrafted Oklahoma's quarterback from this current season will feel the wrath of that suck as well.
Suck, dude.
And off to the most, for me, this is the most perplexing team in this division. I think their head coach is an absolute joke, but he got 7 or 8 wins out of this team a year ago.
7,
maybe 9. I don't. Yeah,
7 for Seattle.
Yeah. Pete Carroll and another quarterback controversy. Probably the most legitimate one in this, or maybe the most unlegitimate, I think.
Yeah, because it's not really a controversy.
It shouldn't be.
It's a case of we paid a guy. Yeah,
but they didn't. They paid them all.
Yeah,
and they drafted one. So
which makes it even worse.
Right. So who will be the starting quarterback for Seattle this season?
I guess they roll with Flynn just for pride reasons.
3 years, $26 million. Jackson's getting $6 million a year, I believe. And then they drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. Or 4th round. 3rd round.
3rd.
Yeah, I think the money thing again. We'll put Flynn, or is that his name?
Matt Flynn. Yeah, LSU guy. Another LSU guy.
Yes, put him in the driver's seat at least at first, and
See,
if they're 2-6,
But the current case is it's not. It's Travaris is in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Because he knows the offense.
Yeah.
And their head coach is an absolute retard.
Yes, that is true.
Pete Carroll is a dumbass.
They got good assistant coaches over there.
I guess. I don't even know if that's true.
Well, they're better than him. What about that?
Well, so is the turd I just squirted. He's
just
a disaster.
Yeah. That's what that is?
Yeah, that's what you smell.
Oh.
Okay, their OC is Darryl Bevell, and their DC is Gus Bradley. Anybody named Gus, I don't trust. So,
thanks.
No, I mean, I think Travaris does start the season at quarterback, and I think they play Green Bay week 2 or 3, and that's when they'll put Flynn in. It's a storyline, and it's too perfect. Carroll plays this fucking bullshit game where he doesn't give a shit about wins and losses. He just wants to be cute and fun, and so Travaris Jackson.
He wants to be in charge.
No, and he is.
He wants to know everyone.
Right.
Everyone to know that.
And he will.
Monday night against Green Bay.
That's when Flynn will get his start. Yeah, that'll be Flynn's coming out party against his former team, and Travaris will fucking suck for 2 weeks. That dumpster fire of a fucking football player, and I think Russell Wilson's the best quarterback on their roster, but Pete Carroll ruins a delicious steak dinner, so of course he'll ruin quarterbacks. So that was the last place I wanted Russell Wilson to end up, but because I do think he's a hell of a football player, dual athlete, played baseball professionally as well. So this is nothing new to him. This scene is nothing new to him. But Flynn's a good football player. I have to say that. But even not having to say it, I think he's fine. They have some decent talent at receiver, and Marshawn will carry the load as long as you keep feeding him Skittles. So. But that Travaris starts the year for me. And then Flynn comes out on Monday night, and it's a
Look at
big
me.
hoorah. And they lose to the Packers by 40, but
He had 3 interceptions
Tavares
again.
comes back out for a corner.
it won't be his fault. That defense just won't stop anybody.
Yeah. Segue.
Speaking of that defense, and I was pretty shocked. I can't name a soul on this defense, and they were a top 10 unit. They were ranked number 9 last year, total yards given up. And Pete Carroll is a defensive coach. I mean, from his days in New England and whatever. I still think he's a disaster. He's a piece of shit, as far as I can tell, as a human. But not a complete piece of shit. But it is not, banging people in the showers. But he does hate on his own players in college. I mean, these are collegiate kids making decisions for their future, and he's only worried about himself. That's a big red flag for me. But so number 8 is the defense was the top 10 unit a year ago. Can they build on that? Can they be a top 10 unit again?
No, they're playing some teams that are going to murk them.
Right, no, and I think the main reason that they weren't, and I haven't looked at the stats, but I think the reason they were in the top 10 was because 6 games against 3 of the most remedial offenses in the league.
And then the rest
Probably got lit up. I haven't looked at it, but I'm guessing.
And the rest of their schedule wasn't too crazy either. But this time they're gonna get hurt.
But I can't name. I don't know who anyone on their defense. I don't know one.
You know some of their DBs.
Barrett Rudd. That's it.
Yeah,
but Trufant's not even starting anymore.
Yeah,
he's
old.
Yeah.
Earl Thomas
I don't know who that is.
out of Texas.
So he's got to be shitty.
No, I see.
A defensive back from Texas.
Coming off.
A defensive back from Texas.
He's sticking in the league, like
They
a lot of them.
well, he was a first round pick 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
No, Thomas and Berry were the best 2 safeties that year, and they were very good. Earl Thomas is very good.
Yeah.
He's Eric Berry caliber. You're right. But I mean, honestly, Barrett Rudd from his Tennessee days. That's the only reason. In Tampa Bay, actually, the only reason I know who that is. So I guess I have to give Pete Carroll some credit because this is the same unit for me.
Yeah, maybe the reason they're good is you don't know who to block.
Well, right. Or
Just total no name.
maybe you don't take him seriously.
Right.
And again, it's in a division that is pretty remedial offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, not this time. I mean, they got a couple teams they're gonna play. They're gonna get lit up from the NFC North. NFC North and the AFC East. That's some offenses in there, and they're gonna light them.
Yeah,
And that'll be enough to screw them statistically, where they won't be able to do it.
yeah, I agree. And maybe I'm not giving Pete Carroll enough credit, and that's fair. I don't give a lot of people enough credit.
Yeah, I would err on the side of not giving him enough credit.
Right, and I have. I've admitted
Seems
that.
like a jackass to do
I'm, a good man admits when he's wrong. I am not that man, but
and I'm not wrong.
flesh lives. But no, I tend to. When it's in front of you, you have to. And they didn't win 8 games last year, 7 games because of their offense.
No.
They won it because of Marshawn Lynch was running for Skittles, and their defense played out of its ass. And they didn't. I think, looking at the stats, if I remember correctly, they caused a lot of fumbles, I think. I don't think it was interceptions. But they did get turnovers. And to be number 9 in yards given up is also a credit to.
Yeah.
So they're doing something right, and they're doing it sneaking up on you because I have no idea who these fellas are. And Trufant doesn't even start for them anymore. So props to them. We lit them up too in the same fashion we did in another losing effort in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yes.
So hopefully Spagnuolo is our savior. Right. Hopefully Spagnuolo is our savior. We'll certainly find out soon enough. So that did on their defense. I don't even know what to talk about. I don't know who these people are. I'm glad you pointed out Earl Thomas because he is a very, very good football player.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Eric Berry were the 2 safeties that year, and they were both high first-round picks.
Yeah,
I believe. So back to the top 11, number 9, and we're out of specific questions for each team. It's the MVP of each, offensively and defensively.
And who does it need to be for them to be
right?
successful?
And that's more, yeah. And I think Stefan wasn't. Well, I know he wasn't here last week, but we agreed on more than half.
Not just MVP, but the most important player.
Right. On each
you
side.
agree on that?
Yeah. Well, you and I agreed on most
we did. Okay.
of what we ended up coming up with last week. You were overseas, so.
Yeah, I didn't listen to last week's podcast, not for lack of trying. Though.
No one else did either. So it's fine.
I listen to it.
I'm going to listen to it, tomorrow, because I can go to sleep after I finish this podcast.
Right. No, that's fair. But so we'll start with the 40. We'll go in the same order as we did with the questions, and we'll start with San Francisco.
It's Alex Smith because he has weapons, so he's out of excuses, and there's going to be situations where they're going to have to score. So it's all on him. If he shows up and takes a big shit and proves that he was the joke that we made him out to be, then his career is over. Because it seems to be pretty clear that, Mario Manningham just got through making jackass Super Bowl catches. Randy Moss is allegedly looking great and ready to go. And after sitting around for a year and watching people say, that dude, he would have been good if it wouldn't have been for this and would have been for that. Because when people write your obituary and they got something against you, they hang you. And they kind of did that to Moss. And you got to think Moss is sitting at the house like, shit, I'm not that old.
Nobody ever said would have been good. He's the first ballot.
Yeah, like, hey, I could. Well, he could have been even better than he was if he wouldn't have been this type of guy, or he took this playoff, or whatever, or he had this type of attitude, or those couple years where he kind of didn't care, or whatever people say about him.
I've ever seen.
And he's sitting there like, shit, I can still play. I can. And again, we got no film on you.
Right.
So it's like, Maul's got to be thinking, screw this.
I'm the white Chris Carter.
Like, let me eat some sensible dinners right quick, and let me take off running, and let me quit drinking, or whatever the hell I do. I'm ready to play.
He just needed to quit being a hillbilly.
Like, fuck this, I'm going to play. So you got that on your side. And
it just sucks they don't have a quarterback to throw it to him. I don't think Alex Smith can see that far.
But if Alex Smith screws this up, man, it's over for him. So it's him, man.
And that's why it's Frank Gore for me. Because Frank Gore is going to need to provide that for Alex Smith to do.
You think?
It's Gore and Brandon Jacobs and the other backs. It's them because they added all these weapons. So the league is going to catch up to that. They already know that. So they're going to err on the side of they're come out and throw the football. They're going to throw. Jim Harbaugh can only contain himself as much as I can contain myself. I get these new. I want Randy go run the street route. I want to see that. I want to use you. Randy can't do that slant, dude. I want to use them, but it's going to be the calm-headed, cool-headed Gore. Not only does Gore pound out the yards and keep between the tackles, but he's one of the best blockers in the passing game.
Yes.
He's one of the best receivers. He's one of the most versatile backs in the league. And this league, this division probably has the best. All the MVPs to jump ahead are running backs for me in this offensively. This is a running back division, and because the quarterbacks are that bad, but the running backs are that good. If these running backs don't succeed, these teams won't succeed, and it's Gore all around. And it's not only Gore; it's the running game for Alex Smith because Alex there's a target now. This guy was looked at as a joke, and he still is. He still only threw 17 touchdowns last year. He attempted 27 pass attempts a game. That was his average. They're not throwing a football. They're going to now. The defense will take a step back. They're going to be down. They're not going to jump on teams as much. They do play a first place schedule.
Which makes it
Gore, they will lean on Gore. Sorry, Stefan.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I got Gore and friends too.
Yeah.
Because they showed last year. Gore had, by far the most carries last year. That may not be the case this year. I don't know how they're going to use the other running backs.
They have 3 other guys who are certainly capable.
Yeah, Hunter's pretty
good. And that's why they did that.
Because Gore was kept getting hurt.
Last year Harbaugh learned what Singletary can't because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But don't put everything on him. 300 carries is not something you do with your best back.
Yeah.
Especially if they kept drafting capable backs and not using them. But they did split the carries. Gore had, he had less carries, and they did lean on Kendall Hunter. They did lean on the Anthony Dixon, and they drafted LaMichael James.
Yep.
Now Rock Cartwright they brought in, who could also play fullback with Brandon Jacobs. This team makes sense.
Yeah. I think their defense is good enough that and they've shown last year Smith doesn't have to be good.
Right.
For them to
No, it just
win.
doesn't have to
He
suck.
has to be okay.
Don't lose the game.
Yeah,
He won the game against us. He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
That playoff game, he won that game.
Yeah.
But-
I think Smith's performance will dictate whether this team goes 13-3, 14-2.
Yes.
You know,
Right. But
goes into the elite class.
Right.
But yeah.
the value starts with
I got Gore. Yeah.
yeah. I agree. Obviously.
If they don't have a running game, then it falls on Smith. Then it gets a lot tougher. 'Cause he had pretty much a zero pressure
He did.
Yeah.
environment, despite all the
yeah.
calls for benching him. They're
Right.
going on for years.
And we
Yeah.
love the moves they made at receiver, but
Yeah.
that adds pressure. That adds, it does.
Expectations.
Yes, and that's
Indeed.
the perfect word. And I don't know. I don't see it. I think that if they still carry, if he averages under 27 attempts again this season, yes, they'll win 13 games. My reasoning for where I put them, they're not. They're going to throw the football, and he's going to fail.
Epically.
No, because he's a smart enough fella. But Harbaugh's going to get caught up. It's just like if I was the head coach, my emotions, I get caught up in them. I got these toys. I'm gonna use these toys.
I would definitely send Randy Long. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna lean on my defense because you can because it's that good.
Yeah, but don't you think though, having Frank as your starting running back and having all of that behind him, don't you think that's tempting too? Because it's like, well, if Frank gets hurt this time, look at what we got behind it. Like
you think so? And
so maybe why don't we just use some Frank? And then we make a couple throws, we throw a couple shiesty slants.
you hope so, but
second and
why
two.
add 6 receivers if
Yeah.
you don't want to throw the football? They drafted in the first round a receiver after adding Randy Moss and Mara Manningham and re-signing Kyle Williams and Ted Ginn. So they wanted, and they already have one of the best receiving tight ends in the game.
Yeah, but when
So
Crabtree's
this
the number
and Delanie Walker, who is also a very under loved player. I mean, at that position,
yeah, but when you got
underappreciated.
when Crabtree is your
he wants to throw the football. It's obvious.
yeah, when Crabtree is your number one,
And he drafted
non-tight end,
Kaepernick in his first draft. He wants Colin Kaepernick to be his quarterback, and he does. I mean,
You saying he was like when Alex Smith had a couple good games, he was like, "Shit."
I certainly do. And I'm not saying he's setting him up to fail because you surround any quarterback with this, you'd certainly think it would set them up to succeed. I don't think Alex Smith has it. I don't. I'm shocked he's still in the league, to be honest.
Well, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
He's got more second chances than a lot of people.
He really has, and through different regimes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, he used that 5th chance as good as anybody could have.
All
last
3
year.
of those people that got those
Right.
5th chances, yeah.
Yeah, I mean as good as anyone, and they were a play away. If Kyle Williams doesn't fumble both those plays, but he's also a big reason they were there. So to hang him out is just rude. But on to the defense of these same San Francisco 49ers. It's obvious for me. And just like you with Takeo Spikes in San Diego, it's Patrick Willis. And I know he missed a couple games last year, but it's going to start in that middle level. And he does what middle linebackers should do for a defense. He positions everyone.
Yep.
And even he can still do that from the sideline. That's why this Vilma thing is such a big deal to a lot of people. He can still coach from the sideline. Actually, we're better when he's not on the field. Willis is younger, better, and he's the defensive MVP for me there. The secondary is a joke. And their front 4 is young, very talented.
Yeah. Which
But
is why
I guess
you
front
get-
3, they do play a 3-4.
That's why you can get away with questionable secondary when you got that. Though.
Right.
Because they don't have to cover for long.
Right.
So, Patrick Willis, that's safe enough money. He has to just keep on being what he is, which is a hell of a lot for this group. So, who else could it be?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a curiosity, if Alvin Smith can have the kind of numbers he had last year.
Come back from the staff.
Yeah.
Stay out of the club.
But yeah, as far as importance, it's hard to look past anyone. But Willis.
Stay out of the club, please. You know you're going to be at the club. Safe enough.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready for Arizona.
Offensively for the Cardinals, I can't name a quarterback just because I don't know who he's going to be. And
that's the angle I took on it because they're gonna stick somebody out there, and they got to be at least serviceable.
Skelton, but
Yeah.
They got to get the ball within 10 feet of Fitzgerald.
And
so
he'll
he can
catch it.
actually catch it. Yeah.
Yes.
and that's it. 10 feet, and and Culp has struggled with that. Skelton hasn't. But yeah, it's Beanie Wells for me. Even though he's never healthy, but when he is, their offense has got another big element. He's a top 5 back if he's healthy, and just not only what he did at Ohio State, what he's done in the NFL when he's upright. He's McFadden, but he's a little thicker. He's got more of a running back body, but they both have those injury issues. But he needs to stay healthy for this offense to have a chance. And I don't think he'll start the season healthy, but they need him, and he's my offensive MVP for them.
Yeah, I mean, with Wells getting hurt so often, they can't be counting on him.
Right.
It's like, yeah, he had a good
That's
year
why.
last year.
That's why I have him winning 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
So there's got to be a plan B and permanent ink. On
Yeah.
on the.
Well, yeah, Larry's the obvious. I mean.
Yeah, well, but his success, depends on the quarterback,
Right.
Delivering. So, yeah, I can't really think of anybody else on the offense that's all that important.
No, I mean, because everybody in the receiving corps is going to be a benefactor of being around Larry. So
Yeah, it'd be nice to see how Floyd does. The
Yeah.
first round pick.
Yeah.
If he, if he has like a 2-touchdown game early, maybe starts pulling a little of the attention off Fitzgerald.
Yeah, attention's never bothered Larry though.
What's that?
Attention's never
I
bothered
know.
Larry.
Yeah, he still catches it whether you.
Right.
So
you just got to
may as
get
well-
it in the proximity.
You may as well just single cover him anyway because he's going to catch it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Extra people does not help.
and they're still going to throw to him regardless.
I would take those extra people and rush the quarterback
Right.
and force a bad pass.
Exactly. Well,
I think that's what they did last year.
teams are doing whatever they need to do. It's not like Arizona's winning at an alarming rate. So.
Alarming.
Hey, they were 8-8 last year.
So,
Were they?
Yeah.
That's
Because Skelton was like 6-2 as a starter.
And Beanie had 1,000 yards in those
Mhm.
9 games that he played in or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, Fitz had his 1,400 yards.
Somehow.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because he had a bad first month and then it was just on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What about on D?
Well, let's see. Where were they last year? Middle of the road.
Surprisingly,
They were middle of the road in pretty much everything.
yeah, and that's why Darnell Dockett's been there the longest. Third round pick in 04. Well, not that Adrian Wilson's actually been there the longest, but he's in the secondary, and he does have a big role because they are a young secondary other than the other safety, which is Kerry Rhodes, who they traded for.
Terry Rhodes is healthy now?
Yeah, and he's played a lot for them after being traded from the Jets.
Yeah.
But I'll go with Darnell Dockett because I think the secondary is they're probably of the 3 stages, it's their best unit.
Yeah.
So I'll just ignore them. But for them to succeed, they have to stop the run. I think is where they struggled a year ago, and it's got to start with your most veteran defensive lineman. And
Yeah.
So Darnell Dockett for me is the guy. He needs to step it up. And not only he needs to step it up, he needs to relay that down to
the rest
the
of them.
youngins. There's two top 4 picks in 2010, and a younger guy, an older guy from 08. These guys need to lead. He needs to lead by example. So I don't think they sacked the quarterback at all a year ago.
No,
So,
and if they can get some pressure, I mean, they got some people in the secondary that can create some really good situations for the offense to put them in some really nice, easy spots, field position wise. But you got to have that pressure to make that happen. So Dockett is safe money.
Yeah. I'll go with the dark horse, Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
He led them in sacks last year. He's 6'8", 300 pounds.
Yikes.
second round pick in 2000.
Yeah. He's just a freak athletically.
And I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 sacks. But Vonnie Halliday's behind him too, so that's another veteran guy.
Yep.
To play situationally, and so I think Ken Wisenhunt's one of the better coaches in football. It's hard to win in Arizona. Apparently, I don't know. It's got to be. It's
Kurt Warner did it. Oh, sorry.
Sweet Kurt Warner.
yeah. Well, you got Jesus with you. What is that? I guess it helps.
Couldn't wait.
All you had to do was throw
Winston
some
Hunt was the
proximity.
coach, and that was his first year, I think, as the coach. So I tend to think they'll right the ship. They do have their roster looks a lot better than the games end up, but they lose a lot of 13, 17 games and stuff like that, and
Doesn't help when you're trying to figure out who the quarterback is.
right, and that's obviously become the biggest obvious. To be redundant, but the biggest obvious need for any team is if you don't have a quarterback, you don't really have an identity. You don't have
Right.
and that's why San Francisco was such a shot in the pan because they really don't.
Flash in the pan?
Whatever.
All right.
They're both sayings.
Shot in the arm? Oh, yeah.
Right, but thanks. And
Shot in the pan.
but there's talent all over this roster, but if you don't pair that with a quarterback, a lot of times it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they've been bad enough for long enough. They should have some talent on that roster.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true. But they haven't been so bad though. They've been 7-6. They haven't been bad enough to. It's like the Rockets. They just
Middling.
right. Not you're right out. You're right in the lottery. You're not. It's
Yeah. The number 14 pick.
right.
Yeah. You win 6
Year
games
in,
and
year
then-
out.
yeah.
It just tanked. You don't. It builds up, and that's. But the beauty of the NFL is free agency, and they haven't seemed to figure that out. So we'll see. That it will always be an interesting division just because it's littered with mediocrity. But
Well, we were used to, like all the teams being 7-9,
Right.
8, and then last year there was actually a pretty big spread.
but that was the team
That
we
was-
expected to do this for. They were prepared for 6 years to
Yeah,
do
and
that.
then
They
They
finally
finally
got the right
Like,
coach.
they got a coach that wasn't mooning everyone and showing doing the bat wing outside of the cooler. I mean, it took just a sane
I'm not gonna
person.
ask, yeah.
No, we're not asking. I'm not looking at it up either.
Waiting? No, the movie would have.
No.
the bat wing.
See, we're gonna
The bat.
do
I
it.
thought they called it like the goat wing.
What?
No, there was several. It was the goat. It was the bat.
Okay.
When you spread the nut sack, and it's like the bat or
See.
whatever. Yeah. See, you went there. I had to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
But
believing you.
and there was a sequel. Both the things were from the Baton Rouge. But anyway, on to another debacle. The Rams. Offensively, he's been their MVP since he's been there 8 seasons ago. He just like Gore, he does it all in the passing game, in blocking, receiving. 350 plus carries a season. He's only had one real injury, and when he did, they were really shitty. It's Steven Jackson. The poor guy is gonna be in the league probably 12 years as a running back and never have anything to show for it.
Right. I mean, he's clearly their best player, but he could have 1,400 yards and it wouldn't matter.
No, which is
They've had seasons like that.
the first 8 years of his career.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone else on that offense you can
Is
talk
MVP
about
worthy,
as,
no.
or as
No.
shifting the balance, and winning you some games.
The thing that's just scary though is I don't know what kind of season he has to have to propel this to something that's gonna win some games.
Yeah.
But it's got to be him. I don't know what he. Well, last year he didn't catch a lot of passes, but
Yeah, that was it was kind of a down receiving year for him, wasn't it?
yeah, because he wasn't even third in
Yeah.
receptions for them.
Only 260 carries last year. Was he hurt at all?
He got hurt the first week. He had like 2 or 3 carries and 80 yards and a touch, and then he
2 times. It was against the Eagles. He scored like twice in the first quarter, and then
then he got hurt. Then he missed the
sprained
game
his
the next
penis.
week
And then
I hate it when that
they
happens.
either beat the Eagles or almost beat the Eagles.
because that was the first sign that the Eagles defense was kind of
Shit,
shitty.
right,
It was
right.
like, man, this is
Yeah.
this is a
It must
problem.
have been an almost because he said they only beat the Browns and the Saints, right?
Who's
Yeah,
that?
last
Yeah,
year the
yeah.
Rams.
Yeah.
I know they beat us.
Sorry.
Well,
All right, I brought it up. It's fine.
Yeah.
yeah, they beat the Browns, lost, and then they
Okay, so yeah, Steven Jackson. All right.
Steven Jackson.
Check that box.
All right,
Yeah.
and on the defensive side, for me, it's Cortland Finnegan because of
Yeah.
what I brought up earlier. He's the
The
one guy,
instilling and
right,
bringing
to
it.
bring over Jeff Fisher's mentality. And,
Yeah, I like that pick.
yeah,
That
and he'll
makes
do
sense.
that as in the mold that Fisher will not only try to create but demand on that side of the ball. I mean, he'll and I guess it's a testament to Finnegan to go there. It's a testament to Fisher.
Oh, Fisher definitely.
For Finnegan to go, because he was highly sought it out. I mean, that wasn't his only option.
Free agents don't often sign with.
No, right.
No.
So that says a lot. And
2-14. All right, I'm all over that.
All right, Jeff.
I love Jeff Fisher, and I love him. I love him as a coach, but I love him as a person as much as that. As far as I can tell, and every time I do this, they end up bending the wrong person over. But he seems like a decent fella. Father. I mean, he takes his time away from the game to go fishing with his kids, and so
and
right.
Finnegan, I mean, bringing
Andy
him in,
Griffith.
his intensity is kind of a nice way of putting it,
Right, no, but
he's like one of those guys that
it's contagious.
If he's on your team, you love him.
It's
but
contagious.
If he's against you, you hate him.
Yeah, that intensity is contagious.
So
and so is Howie Long's son. Howie was a disaster, but
Chris Long,
a roided punk bitch. But Chris is also roided up, but he centered it, and
they got different drugs to go with the
right. And Michael Brocker's out of LSU on their line.
Their first round pick.
First round pick, who obviously have to love, and Joe Dunbar from the Saints, who I wanted to retain. That's a Greg Williams signing. But and Laurinaitis, a Big Ten white linebacker, he's garbage. But I like Rocky McIntyre. I think he's out of Miami, and the Redskins overdrafted him back in the day. But he's a good football player. This defense will keep them in games. They will completely bounce back from 22 a year ago, because
they were 31st overall in rushing defense.
Yeah,
that's kind of where it began.
That's where Chris Long's undersized and a punk bitch.
He's a pass rusher.
Right.
That's it.
Right. And Brockers is just everywhere.
Yeah.
He'll distract. And Dunbar is great against the run. He came in for those games that Vilma missed and was so much better. But
the things in place for them to end up being better. But I can see that. I mean, getting everything installed is going to be important, but it just sucks that the offense isn't going to pay them back worth of shit this year because of who they got. Yeah.
Garbage. Anyway, he can't do a quarterback dance.
Quarterback.
Other than the rain dance. But all right,
that's because of his bad ankle, right?
Yeah. No. Right. That's bad. Everything. On to the Sea Chickens. I'm making it a clean sweep on offense. It's another running back for me. Lynch was their Lynch mob a year ago. Like he came out of nowhere, and because the year before that he was absolute shit.
Yeah.
But
he had like one of the worst per carry averages
right.
around.
And their line was pretty bad. But he's also he had a career of underachieving to that point.
Beast mode.
But I'll stick with him. He did get paid, so I'm a little bit leery. And I want to go with Seneca, of course, as my offensive MVP because I love me some Seneca. He changed his number, though. I don't know if you were here for that.
Oh, yeah.
Doug, you were, but Doug Baldwin.
I was crushed.
He's now number 89, and they've since moved him into the starting lineup, which, come on, he lives there.
Yeah.
But I'll go with Marshawn. He got paid. I wouldn't put any money on it. But, at
least we know where
Audible
he's
mentioned
going to be.
Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, but some of these other people, I don't even know where they're going to be.
It's Seneca Wallace. Sidney Rice just doesn't stay healthy. So
Well, is that
Golden Tate's insane. But Mayu's, who knows? He's
special teams, whatever.
He'll get a few catches. Yeah, Lynch is only 26, so, he could get better.
right. But do you remember where he was before Seattle?
Buffalo.
Right. Do you remember it at all, though?
Yeah.
He was
suspended, getting caught with this, acting fool.
It was not pretty.
They basically unloaded him.
Yeah, he was more memorable off the field when he had money. Now he's got money again. He was playing for money. Now I'm going with him because I just think that team's a disaster.
Maybe he had to hit bottom in order to get his act together. I don't know.
And Cable is what the offensive line coach there?
Is he?
I think so. I think that's where he landed.
Well, that's good.
So that means
you'll punch him in the nuts. If
no, I mean they.
Let me show you
Skittles. Let me show you my Skittles.
Yeah, wherever he is, there's gonna be some.
He's choking somebody. Yeah. So I love Cable.
There's gonna be some, and then now he's down enough where if he chokes somebody, we'll never hear about it.
Yeah,
it's
perfect. It's perfect.
So, and I think he had a lot to do with what they did last year on the ground. So, it's got to be Lynch. in that situation.
And defensively, we've been through the no name. And I mentioned him already, Barrett Rudd, because he's the only guy I've heard of, other than Trufant, who's not even in the starting lineup. So Barrett Rudd, he'll bring some intelligence and consistency to that defense
In the middle.
But and he's been a linebacker, which when in doubt,
roll with that.
Go there. I have no idea of anyone else on this defense.
I think they get touched up this year, but if whatever they're able to accomplish, it'll come from that.
Yeah, it starts up front, I just don't know these guys that well. So.
Yeah, that's some older guy. I see.
Yeah, man.
Based on who they got started.
Look it up here.
Yeah, I'm looking him up, and even like on face, I'm like, oh well, wait, no, he didn't play last year. He was hurt. Well, I don't know this guy.
Wait, I'm the third string left end. My name is on here as the left defensive end.
Nice.
That's how. Yeah.
you dropped down the
right.
You dropped.
I have no idea who these people are.
Did you not go to OTA?
Right. I mean, that's how bad it is. They have a McCoy, so they're destined to suck. So
yeah, I know Earl Thomas plays the run a lot, but. And he's a good player, but to see him second in tackles last year is a little. I never like to see a DB up there in tackles.
No,
that does
not in a defense that doesn't blitz.
Yeah, it's Chris Clemens. I guess I recognize that name.
No, but it's a different Clemens.
Oh, really?
Another one that came from Philly, but it's like Charlie or it's a different Clemens, I think, because he sounded familiar to me. Maybe that's more to you, but he also sounded familiar to me. But it's not. I don't think it's that Clemens. Because it's only been in the league since 05, so maybe. Might be another UT guy. No, he's from Georgia. So it might be the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah. No name.
No name.
No name.
No name D's got to stick together.
Barrett Rudd, we're rolling with that. And
is it Rudd or Rude?
It's Rude, but because it's 2 U's, but.
Yes.
But I like the Rudd. Rud it up. And
Let's get
number 10 of our top 11 top fantasy player at each position. This is not true. I mean, are we drafting any of these?
No.
Quarterback is like the toughest one.
Yeah, we're not drafting any of these people. At least not for the first.
I'll go with Flynn, just because.
You think he's going to be playing?
He'll start week 3. And they've got Sidney Rice is.
You thinking
he's Larry Fitzgerald? If he can give you 16 games, he's that good.
That's out of control.
But he is, and I love me some Seneca. And Golden Tate's it's his 3rd year. This is when he blossoms, and they do have Zach Miller at tight end, and this is the kicker at tight end for me. Kellen Winslow is their tight end now, and we'll get to him more when we go to the tight end part. But he makes any quarterback better.
Well, if he wants to be there.
He does.
Is he actually? Well, he's probably. It was either that or out of the league.
Well, it's better than Tampa. Three wins or 6 wins. Fuck it.
Language.
So yeah, it's Flynn for me. I'm tempted to take Skelton just because of the Larry factor, but
whoever's the quarterback for Arizona. So I picked Cobb. I figured they'd stick him out there. And
Cobb's not starting.
He would have to be better. But
we're gonna hurt him. We're gonna hurt him in the Hall of Fame game. We should go to that. I've never been to the Hall of Fame.
August 4th?
Yeah.
What am I doing there? I'll have to get back.
Yeah, you're not doing anything.
I'm in Cancun.
You'll come if I.
Oh, Cancun.
Yeah.
What is it?
I said I'm going to be in Cancun.
That's a shame. I'll be in Canton. All right.
I'll take where I'm going.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I got Alex Smith.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
All right.
He's way down the depth chart.
But this is the most intriguing. Yeah, you're not drafting him.
No.
Nobody's drafting any of these guys. This is the most intriguing position because if we look back at MVPs, I took all running backs. You were pretty close to all running backs, if not all running backs.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't commit to a couple, but I do. I'm taking Lynch because I think he'll get the most carries. They leaned on him. They don't have anyone behind him, I don't think.
Yeah. Nah, it's Leon.
Right. So they have a squirrel behind him. And that's how they won football games last year was a no-name defense and Lynch carrying the ball 30 times a game.
Yeah.
Lynch because he's going to get the most opportunities.
If I'm approaching this like I'm thinking of drafting these guys and it's like Gore, potential reduced role, Wells,
Who knows?
Who knows? They'll be hurt,
Right.
And then Steven Jackson. always solid, but if there's not much else around him,
and he's not catching passes, and that team may not score.
And that quarterback, did I mention it was an American Indian?
And he's not good.
I hope that,
once or twice.
Yeah.
So there's no smart money at running back as far as
Lynch will be a top 10 running back, I think.
that's the safest.
I think he'll be a top 10 fantasy back, assuming
He doesn't catch passes either.
they don't
all.
throw.
Yeah.
So yeah, the week he has
But
60
look,
yards
if you
rushing,
look at his stats from a year ago, he was a top 5 fantasy back.
I think he doesn't catch passes because his cheekbones are in the way of his eyes.
No, he wins ugliest player in the league.
Yeah.
He looks like that Super Mario villain.
Uh-huh.
But if you look at his stats after week like 6,
he was monstrous.
Bowser, yeah. He was incredible. He was the best
100
running
yards.
back in fantasy football after week 6. He did dick for like 6 or 8 weeks. After that, he was unbelievable.
He was basically like a Ryan Grant. You look
He
at
was.
the stat line. It's
We're
like,
going to
what
run the
hell?
ball 30 times a game just with him, and be damned if that doesn't work. And it did. Beast mode. He eventually broke one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the only. Yeah, because you're right. Gore is now a 6th-round pick, 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
And we almost had a cool thing to do for our August 26th podcast, or around that time. Was Corey? We were gonna 3 of us were gonna do his draft as the podcast.
Ah.
But it's not online, so we might not be able to do it. But that would have been fun. We could have the 3 of us together. I mean, with all we had those computers, we could have pretty much put together a super team. Because the things we don't think of, one of us will. What if this bye week? When he's playing this team?
Yeah.
So I'm still working on it. It might still happen, but that'd have been fun because I don't want to, and I want to turn it over to him. I don't want it to be just mine because I'm done. I'm done. But it would have been fun to. No, I'm fucking done.
We're gonna talk about it.
No, I'm completely done.
Yeah.
But
100% done.
But receiver, do we even have to go through that? Is that pretty much?
I don't think so.
No, I don't.
Don't make me walk off of here.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty.
If you don't take him in the first round, then
Right.
you and
So, okay.
9 other people.
All right. So, but I'm not even going to say his name. All right. So tight end. This one's intriguing too, and I alluded to it. He's not even listed as a starter yet.
I can see
Kellen Winslow is going to be for me. That's. But remember, Todd Heap was in Arizona. But remember, he was there a year ago, and I didn't know he was there. So
Todd Heap is playing 4 games.
Right.
See,
Right.
He's
and they've got a decent backup too.
Jeff King,
Yeah. From Carolina, that guy's consistently put up numbers.
6'5", big dude.
Yeah,
I remember him.
Yeah, no, he'll have better numbers.
He usually just doesn't get targets. That's
right.
the problem. But
no, he'll be better than Heap in Arizona.
I'm going with Davis had a 15 touchdown season a couple of years ago. And
last year.
And last year he had 15 to 17.
Right, but there's other targets.
You're talking about 2 teenage amount of touchdowns for a tight end. I think he's going to do the same thing this year too.
I think he's blowing his knee out in week 2.
Well, I think if he gets half that many touchdowns, he's still probably the biggest fantasy tight end.
Kellen Winslow is a fucking.
He is, but he's a hurt guy too, and I don't know whether they're going to give him those shots. Now,
because they didn't use Zach Miller at all last year.
I was wondering if something happened to him.
Yeah, he was hurt. He was hurt most of the year.
Yeah,
but they don't use the tight end.
Davis had 13 touchdowns in 2009.
Yeah.
6 last year, 7 in 2010.
He just had 6 last year?
Yeah.
He must have had a shit ton of yards.
Yeah. 792.
That's it?
What do you catch?
Oh, well, shit, he's gone.
67 catches.
Oh, well, I was wrong, man. I thought he had.
I thought last year was he lit us up, but who didn't?
Yeah, his biggest year, obviously, the 13.
The 13.
I thought last year. I thought he had a big year last year.
And yards.
I'm still rolling with him. I think he has touchdowns.
No, I mean that's the other guy.
I think it's safe
and the
money.
sleeper in that division is Lance Kendricks in St. Louis.
Yeah, he fucked me
Because
last
he was a rookie.
Yeah.
He's not anymore.
Yeah, allegedly he's getting it figured out because he had stamina issues and he made a lot of mistakes when he got tired.
But did I mention they have an American Indian at quarterback?
They still
That's
have
his biggest issue.
They still
This
have
motherfucking he's chucking spears. I need quarterbacks. I need football. He's fucked.
Does YouTube have a racism filter or something like that?
No.
That's the beauty of me being able to do this is because
Beauty wasn't the word that came to mind.
y'all know I'm not at all. I mean, that's why I do it. Because if anybody thought I was racist at all, I'd be fucked. Because Jesse would show up in my house. There he does. and I'll have to answer a lot of questions. But this,
Yes.
I just don't like Sam Bradford, and not because of him personally, it's because he was picked first overall, and he's a dumpster fire. And anyway, so, and I think the next two were
The Rams had 9 receiving touchdowns last year. 5 of them by Brandon Lloyd.
Yikes. Insane.
9 times.
well, he was hurt a lot of the time too, right? They would only had like 6 if Bradford was been the quarterback the whole season.
Bradford had 6. Feely had 1, and Kellen Clemens had 2.
Hey. They know who their starter should be.
And I think Jeff Fisher took that job over another job. Interesting.
Yeah.
Love you, Jeff. Not so much.
Good luck.
Your outfit. So kicker. I mean, this could go a lot of ways. He was money a year ago, and as long as this kid still has cancer, he'll be kicking his ass again. It's Akers for me. I still don't think they get it done in the red zone. I mean, they'll be. They're just going to have the most scoring opportunities, I think.
And that's why you got to roll with him, because every time they don't make it, it's 3, because he's going to make this
55 plus.
Yeah, there's always some random kicker on a.
There is. And Akers was a year ago. I mean, he came out of nowhere.
Is consistently,
He was, but he had 2 years. His last 2 years in Philly were shit.
Yeah.
Craptastic.
Scoring too much.
Right.
And he was missing.
Right. His little son or whatever got. Yeah. All right. I don't wish it on anybody, especially on David Akers. I love David Akers.
Yeah.
And defense, I think, is pretty obvious as well.
Yeah, so clearly. Yeah.
Sigh, and yes, of course. Yeah.
Number 11.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So the standings, we've hinted, we've alluded a lot.
Yeah, so.
To. We'll start from 4 up. I think we all agree at 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's St. Louis.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into it, but I knew I went through the schedule, but
all right. So
we don't have to. We don't have to put a number.
Well, at least to break down the schedule, they play the NFC West. I mean, the NFC. They play that.
Well, no.
Then they play the AFC East, and then they play the NFC North. That's a lot of ass whoopings.
So they'll be. Where's the Minnesota game? That's like first round pick worthy game.
That is in
I think
St. Louis.
Is it
on December 16th?
Jesus, so that'll be first round pick watch. I think I had him. I don't even know.
When we did the over under or.
Right, I don't remember.
Yeah. I think we were all under because.
But it was 5.5 or something.
Every team was getting at least 5.5.
But it was bad. It was like it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
under.
So
how far under?
Well under.
Given the teams.
I'm thinking 3-13.
Yeah, I think that's where I landed 3 or 4.
Yeah,
and I was struggling to figure out which 3 it was going to be.
Yeah,
I had them accidentally beating Seattle, and maybe I'm assuming Tampa's going to be better enough that they won't even beat Tampa.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't have any late season games against teams that are going to be playoff locks and therefore would rest everybody and give up achievement.
Right,
and they're playing Washington too.
That's all. I mean,
and
Washington would be better.
I'm thinking that's going to be a loss too.
RG3 should be drafted. By the way, both of y'all. If Cam Newton can do it, he can do it. And he's got better weapons. Yeah. So, just a heads up to y'all. Yeah. Nobody listens to this, so y'all are fine. Pick him in the 14th round, and you'll be starting him in week 3.
Yeah. But I probably won't wait that long.
Right.
Because whoever I draft first is going to fall on the ground and get hurt. So.
Well, then take Drew. Karma's going to get at him. Anyway.
I'm not doing that.
So second and third, I think it might vary. I don't know.
Hey, we all got San Fran first, I presume.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Second and third might be the one difference.
I'm struggling with that because Arizona, they have Philly and at Atlanta for their two other games. So that's rough.
But Seattle. Seattle's head coach by Pete Carroll. So.
Yeah. And Seattle has Dallas and at Carolina. So
2 losses.
So those
I hate that
those extra 2 games.
Carolina gets like
that's ugly for both of them. So I don't know. I got them both having the same record. So
6.
Yeah,
that's fair. I think I had them tied too, but Arizona winning one game by more or something. I don't know. I have Arizona second.
Yeah.
I think Arizona.
But Seattle's the one team that could surprise us.
And if they win 8 or 9 games.
Right.
And that's
only
not
because of what they did last year. They surprised me last year. I don't know how they do it. I just don't think people take them seriously. But when you roll out Larry Fitzgerald, you roll out Beanie Wells, and there's no sneaking up on anybody.
Right.
So you get Seattle doesn't have that guy. It's like, oh, Seattle, I'm going out tonight. We're playing tomorrow. I'm good.
Going out
Go.
tonight. Well, you figure they're
Go
gonna
get some drinks.
They're gonna stack the hell out of the box.
Yeah. So
I could see Seattle, snagging second, with a
and they
pretty
have an
record,
underrated home field.
8-8, 9-7.
Right.
Maybe.
They have an
Then,
underrated
no.
home field advantage.
I don't think either one of them's winning 9 games.
No. I'm trying to will the NFC
But that
West
said-
into that state. But yeah.
But they were 8-8 and 7-9 at second, third
they
last
were.
year, and that was shocking too. But
Yeah, I think I'd swap them this year. Go Seattle 8-8 and Arizona. I'll call them the train wreck 6-10.
yeah,
The train wreck that's not St. Louis.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we already did.
Right.
yeah. And San Fran didn't sneak up on anybody, but those other teams just aren't.
So you were wondering how many wins? You wondered how many wins I had for San Francisco.
I-
Let's
yeah.
go
Very
through
We're
it.
doing schedule.
Yeah, go through it now through win loss. I think I had 10,
All right, let's
but let me do it now when I'm completely shit faced.
I got it.
let's see.
At Green Bay.
Loss.
Loss.
Wait, is it? So was that a Thursday? Is it a Sunday?
That's a Sunday. So
Okay.
I'll let you know if it's a different day.
Okay.
Okay, so at Green Bay, that's one loss.
Wait. Let me think about it. Yeah, loss. I was making sure because
Home against Detroit.
home. So when?
Okay. At Minnesota.
When?
At the Jets.
Loss. Wait, at the Jets. I'm trying to think of.
This is the
At the Jets,
And this
3
is
o'clock
week
or
4.
noon?
Noon.
Loss.
Versus Buffalo.
So at home?
Yeah.
A win.
Versus the Giants.
Loss. No, win. Because I have the Giants. I like what Vegas.
Versus
Vegas
Seattle.
win.
That's a Thursday game.
Give them the 6th in the division.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
all 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a win. Okay, so then they play at Arizona the next Monday night, and then they have a bye week. And then, St. Louis, November 11th. Okay, Monday night, home against Chicago.
Home. Monday night. That'll be a hard game to watch, but Chicago wins.
Following Sunday at New Orleans.
Please.
Let's see, they win the next week again at St.
Okay.
Louis. Then December 9th, Sunday versus Miami.
So it's at home?
Oh.
Yeah.
Miami's a road team. Loss.
All right. At New England.
Please.
And then at Seattle. And so you got 10 and 6.
Yeah, okay. That's why. So I'm consistent.
Okay.
All right, that's where I was. That's what I had.
Yeah.
So what I thought on Thursday, I still think so unsober on Sunday.
Well, there you go.
That's the team they are. I mean, I have them pegged for what I think they are. So my view won't change.
I got them at 12 and 4.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
So you haven't beaten
More
beaten
teams
us.
than
you
you.
haven't beaten
2 more.
I'm trying to think of who.
I'm
That's
not going game by game here. It's more of a feel for the,
because I'm giving them a sweep of the division, which likely won't happen.
I take more of a holistic view.
Well, because I'm giving them the division, and somebody will beat them in the division. I mean,
think Seattle will beat them one.
right. So that somebody will beat them.
Arizona. So
Right.
that's 5.
So I'm giving them 10 with 6-0 in the division. No, he didn't want to say they're going to beat us, and that's fine. But it's home, and it's like
No,
3-5.
that wouldn't be the one. I mean, it would be more like the Chicago games you have.
I don't think they're going to win that game against the Saints.
I don't know. It's going to be a hell of a payback. I
No.
think that's how we'll view it.
Holiday weekend.
And I'll be there with the Ayers. Ayers, how are they? Ayers, John, you can let me know.
So is that the Sunday
Johnny
before,
Kelly.
before Thanksgiving?
It is.
Yeah.
It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'll be in New Orleans for a week leading up. So I'll be perfectly shitty. And like redeemed team fucking out of this world wanting to beat their ass. I've never, obviously, there used to be in our division. That was a rivalry. even when we sucked, when they were great, we gave them everything every time we played them. So, all right.
Art, did you have a win total for San Fran?
I had them winning 12. I'm trying to find the 4 losses I had. For
Dumb bastards. Well, because I mean, my thought about them is division, and I gave them the 6. So, but they played. They played. But no, but I mean,
they have a tough schedule.
They do. I mean,
it is tough. Yeah,
Buffalo could certainly roll in there and beat them, and they're not going to go to New England and win. They're just not. They don't have that. They don't have it in them. I mean, as much as I shit on New England, I know they're good. I give them what they need.
Yeah.
And but in the Jets aren't going to lose in Week 4. They're just not. Not to the 49ers. It's going to be windy. It's going to be jackass.
Yeah. Who's playing receiver for the Jets this year?
Me. Doesn't matter. It's Antonio Holmes.
No.
I guess Plax and what's his name? Edwards haven't landed anywhere, have they?
No,
I don't think so.
I guess people are waiting for somebody to fall on the ground.
It just sucks. Like the best positions of players that are out there and available, we're like the deepest team in the league at, so we don't need any of this. Can't they be like defensive ends or like linebackers or something, corners, where and
people take
Wes Welker hasn't signed his deal yet.
That's true.
Dude, $9 million. You're lucky to get that over 4 years. You're a fucking sign a fucking deal, asshole. Jesus Christ.
He means that in a nice way.
Yeah. Now that Breeze is signed, you can.
Oh, fuck him too. That's our tribute.
Segue?
It's our tribute. No.
No segue.
Too early for the segue.
$9 million. You're a receiver. You're not even a top 10 receiver. And you get $9 million.
Not a segue.
Kiss my ass. All right. Dynamo better win 3-0 tonight. Anyway, but we're moving on. The 7 of y'all, probably 5 of y'all. Fucking bastards.
Quit hating.
But
why are you hating? Because the people hearing you say this are the ones listening.
They don't
That's
exist.
the actual fans.
Yeah, because they get this when in person. They know. I mean, I'm just gonna be myself from now on. Anyway,
What were you doing the last 9 weeks?
it was a mix. Anyway,
He was in nice host mode.
our my favorite segment,
Non-swearing mode.
Stefan's favorite segment. I'm skipping the Twitter segment this week. That the Sheik was weak.
He's been quiet.
Yeah, a little bit. It was wrestling and he just he was shitting on Jose Canseco.
I don't believe that.
We've been there.
Shocker.
But the All Star Game was this Tuesday.
Ah, yes.
I wish you would have been here. I wanted to watch it with you. So it was uneventful
They jumped on Verlander really early, and then
because he fought Kate Upton the night before. So
I don't blame him.
yeah, so he's the MVP. He banged Kate Upton night, but he's dating
Verlander
Kate
did?
Upton. Yeah.
Oh man.
So
good
he
for
got
him.
the biggest mulligan of all time. So he was still the MVP to me. So
Most valuable.
and I don't even put her in the top 10, but yeah, I'm never gonna bang something like that. So he was the MVP for all men everywhere.
Yeah.
But so I have 4 questions all about the history of the All Star Game. One, starting this year, who did Justin Verlander bang the night before? No.
Oh, it's on the tip.
But I don't think that was ever proved, but God bless
If
that
only
son
she
of a
was on
bitch
the
if
tip
he
of my
did.
tongue.
But there was one team that wasn't represented in this year's All Star Game. And I think it was the first time ever. I tried to Google.
I guess you're supposed to have a representative from each team, but like if the guy can't show up for some reason, then I guess you.
Right. They filled in with something. I think this
Filled
is
in with a
Parker's.
player from another team.
Bryce Harper's. Parker again.
Yeah.
I think.
Who would have had one player? Well, it wasn't the Astros because I think Altuve showed up.
And he struck out.
Yeah.
No, he grounded out. Barely.
Oh, yeah.
If his legs were a little longer, he was a midget.
Yeah, it takes him like 100 steps.
Yeah, he barely grounded out.
Yes.
I watched the entire game, and I'm not better for it. This is the easiest one.
This is the easiest one?
Maybe. Because, you didn't watch it, so these other ones might be easier.
I didn't watch it. I just got a plane for that.
Right. Well, now the 7 do. I mean, I could give you the ultimate hint. And that might give you the ultimate hint.
I don't do that. Let's see. How about...
Well, think about teams who had... Right.
who don't have a lot of representatives.
This team probably shouldn't have had just one. but it's my opinion,
Oh,
which should also be.
they're a little better than that, huh? Or you think they are? The Marlins?
Yeah.
Did Stanton not make it?
No, he got hurt that Saturday.
Okay.
He's out 4-6. Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the Marlins.
That was.
The ultimate hit would be won't match. We have Linsanity in Houston. All right.
That's right.
Woo!
Jeremy Lin.
More Asians. Yay. Actually, they're cute. Anyway. July 10th, 1934, at the New York Polo Grounds.
Ah, yes.
This NL pitcher struck out 5 future Hall of Famers in succession. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Foxx, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin.
That was Carl Hubble.
It was. I figured these would all be easier. That is correct. Ding.
Yes.
We need somebody else in the sound. I need like a monkey to do the soundboard.
I think Valenzuela might have struck out 5 in a row in an All Star Game too, but one of them was a pitcher.
Wait,
Oh, was that one of the questions?
maybe.
Okay.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
All right. Sorry.
Don't. No need for speculation.
I get whimsical sometimes when I answer trivia questions.
July 6th, 1983, at Comiskey Park in
Chicago.
dumpster fire. I can't say it. In the 50th anniversary game, this center fielder hit the first and still the only grand slam in All-Star history.
Oh, was that Fred Lynn?
It was. And who did he play for?
At the time, I think he played for the Angels.
And he did.
Yeah, he started out with the Red Sox.
He's going to do the baseball to get him his confidence built back up.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he was awesome with the Red Sox, and then he moved to the Angels.
The American League won 13-3. American League won that prior 9-7, and finally, which you kind of already answered, maybe.
Oh.
I'll reword it. July 10th, 1984, the following year, in Candlestick, in San Francisco. In the 4th inning, Dodgers ace struck out. Let's see if the best way to. Okay. Venezuela did strike out
5 in a row.
No.
Oh.
He struck out 3 in a row.
Oh, okay.
But this pitcher came in after and struck out the next 3. So it was 3, and then he struck out the next 3.
Oh,
and that is the record of strikeouts in a row, 6 consecutive.
In an All-Star game.
Which is the All-Star record.
Huh.
Breaking 5 by Hubble.
Okay. That's interesting.
So Venezuela did just 3. It was Dave Winfield, Reggie Jackson, and George Brett. Which is a nice list.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 5th inning, consecutively, he came in, struck out the next 3, Lance Parrish, Chet Lemon, and Alvin Davis, which aren't as stored as the first 3.
Not as storied, right? Yeah.
And the National League won 3-1.
Pitchers duel.
84. That should help.
84. So it was. Was it Dwight Gooden?
It was. 84. Yes.
Yeah.
It was a monster. And it was
he was
teenage phenom, 19 years old, and nobody saw anything like him at that time.
Right. Yeah.
And then cocaine never saw another better customer. But yes, that's it.
Cool.
And this is the state of the art this week.
Uh-oh.
But I think you could both. It's kind of for both of y'all. And I didn't highlight any of this because I was fairly unprepared this week.
Me too.
Well, I mean, I got to the point, but then I actually enjoyed my Sunday. So, but it's been an ongoing trend in the U.S. Obviously, it's state of the art, so we're getting brown on it. African American.
I was going to say this can't be more racist than the Sam Bradford shtick.
Well, you can always try.
Well,
but baseball and Black America. What does the future hold? I'm gonna give you some stats here. The trend is undeniable. From a high of 27% of blacks in baseball in 1975, so it's down to 8% now.
27% of the players were black.
In 85, 75. It's down to 8%.
That's 8.
And for me, it's an easy answer. But in fact, let's see. But other races are, so it may not be as easy if you look at these stats. Major League Baseball Latino population 27%, 27.3.
Today?
Yeah, and 38.2 of baseball players at the highest level can be classified as of color. So that's Dominican Republic, I guess.
Yeah.
But we're down to 8% of brown fellas.
Man, it's a lot. Like basketball, you got a goal, somebody got a ball. It's time to hoop. Football, you got a street, somebody got a football. Please don't tackle me on the concrete.
That is the easiest answer.
Let's go.
Is you need a bat,
Man,
you need glove,
you need all sorts of stuff.
It's a lot more
man.
involved.
And oh, by the way,
And the cities don't have baseball fields.
and oh, by the way, kids aren't outside doing anything now.
Oh, yeah.
And when they think of how am I going to make it, it's not one of those, I want to be famous because I want to go play baseball. It's like,
Right.
I want to come out with a whack song and everybody will like it.
Get that rap thing up.
I'm going to get that rap thing going because I can download the program for free and have a song in 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. But that should be impacting all races. I mean,
Maybe. And then the prior generation probably didn't play a lot either.
yeah.
So, it just goes down and down.
I mean, if you
got hooping.
if you had to
That's about it.
name, the best African American baseball player in baseball now,
Today,
right? I nothing even popped into my head.
Jason Hayward or
And he's had a
he's
slump since
up
his
and down,
rookie season, right?
Crawford hadn't done much since he got paid.
Yeah.
No. They don't even pop into my head. And when you do start naming people that they're not black, they're Dominican, or they're
Yeah, I mean, like Sosa was Dominican.
right.
Still
I mean,
is.
Right. Oh, I mean, and obviously Ortiz and names like that are more obvious, but
Right. It could have something to do with just the way the country's gone, because Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in '47.
he was a big part of it.
This big push, not just get back blacks playing baseball, but to get them treated properly, on the field. And so you had a generation potentially of black kids playing baseball,
Almost out of obligation, like, hey, I got a chance to play. Why don't I go ahead and play?
or seeing Robinson as
Or just that's the biggest role model they had.
Yeah, great role model.
Right.
And then in the '80s, you had somebody named Michael Jordan, rock the basketball world, and so every black kid was like, that's the role model. So
yeah, everybody's trying to.
Yeah, right now it's Bonds and
yeah,
that's
really-
not
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not.
Bond's not really a role
That's
model.
not going to make you want to play. So
No.
and even more, it was Tiger Woods golf.
And then the
Now
game's
it's not exactly.
the popularity of the game, at least amongst black people, just isn't there.
Yeah, that's
So-
why I don't like it. Nah.
Oh, black people ain't on this no more.
Oh, I
Screw
see.
that.
But no, I've never been a big baseball fan.
I am a big baseball fan, and at least the league has not gotten all white. The Latino influence is still
Right. Big time. Yeah.
really big. I mean, you build an all-star team out of just Dominicans, they would be terrifying right now. I mean, Pujols, Ortiz.
I don't know. I mean, that's an older guys. I mean,
yeah.
Well, Cabrera's not.
Cabrera's relatively young, but
finally.
Prince Fielder's black, right? Or half?
Oh, he's Cecil. Yeah, he's definitely black.
Yeah, he's black. Okay,
Oh,
he's
there
probably
you
the
go.
best black player.
There you go.
Yeah, but see, I mean, we talked
took a
about
while,
it for
like
10.
and still, well, even Kim. I mean, Dodgers. I mean,
he's a good player.
but right, and he's probably better. I mean, he was like third or fourth in MVP last year, and
He was.
if he stayed healthy,
monstrous year last
yeah,
year.
and Torrey Hunter, and they're there. I know. I mean, I could list 10, but they don't pop into your head immediately, and it's only getting less. It's diminishing as instead of flourishing, and it is, and it's just, it's the easy answer is what we alluded to initially was that
The logistics of trying to play is
right. It's not just and that's the weak excuse because in the Depression era they were using broomsticks and rocks.
Yeah, and the popularity was there.
Right.
Now the visibility and there's so many.
I'm not
things.
saying it's not legitimate. I'm just saying it's
kids got
other
options
ways.
now. Kids can do stuff.
No,
and a lot of
they
it
can play baseball, like you said, on video games.
And a lot of it doesn't involve them being outside. So now that's already, it's just not there.
Yeah, baseball's more of a kid for white or black. It's more of a game for the suburbs than for the city.
And the NFL is just, it is what it is. It's not only captivated our country, it's captivated the world. And it's the biggest thing going, and they market.
World, you listening?
They market the best. They do everything the right. I mean, they do everything the right way, other than suspend Saints players. Proven. Thanks, but whatever. So
for things that the whole league is doing.
Right.
No, as a professional league, it's in the best shape. Yeah.
As an organization at all, it's. I mean, we start scratching and itching for Sundays, like now. I mean, we start talking about it. It's like, can there be games tomorrow, please? And the fantasy leagues have taken off. I've stepped away from it, but
yeah, you really have.
But most
except for now,
most people can't, do that. Anyway, I'll always, in some capacity, be involved, and so that. State of the art, another cultural aspect brought to y'all. We try to. It's not just sports and fun on this show. We want to be culturally sound, and I'll stop talking. And then so the next segment.
We got Whim hits now.
Whim hits. We did. The NBA is the big Whim hit this week.
Scola, Suns.
Did he sign?
I guess they're the one that won. Let's check that. Let me back that up. That's bottom of the screen material. Let's see. Let me test that. Yeah, Suns awarded Ford Scola.
So they see that, and his contract wasn't horrible. I certainly didn't think he was going to clear waivers and go to Dallas, but so I was definitely gonna go with that. But no, I mean, not too much new since last week. The Hornets matched Gordon's deal.
Apparently, he didn't want that.
Yeah, he's a punk. Whatever.
Which is why it's like, well, why did they?
I know, but you just kind of make it work, I guess. Hibbert, the Trailblazers never even offered the deal.
Oh.
The Pacers just
went to max.
Yeah. Which I thought that was going to be the case. McGee's still sitting out there. Let's see, anything more new. Brooke Lopez, the Nets finally said, you know what, we're better off with a sane center. And he's one of the most underrated. He's one of the most underrated players, in my opinion. He's solid. There's only 3 other centers in this league, and clearly 2 of them are insane. So they're fine. We talked about Ray Allen. Apparently, Jeremy Lin, the Knicks aren't going to match that deal, so we will be golfed in the Linsanity. I'll buy our jerseys this week. Well, let's just get engulfed in it. Why not? Jason Kidd, we talked about last week, but he's since hit a pole under the influence, so that won't affect his deal. But you never know.
He hit it with his car.
Right, I'm sure. Who knows?
I guess let's go with it in the car. He was probably still in the car.
OJ Mayo's still out there. And I don't think the Bulls have matched Omar Asik's deal yet either. I think they're supposed to.
But they got till Tuesday or something like that.
It's
they got 3 days after
that.
the sign. I don't know when he signed.
Right. Chris Humphries is still available to bang any random shitty celebrity.
Yeah.
Aaron Brooks is rumored to be coming back to Houston as well.
Really?
It's rumored. I like I said last week, I thought he was in China. I guess he's trying to get back into the league, which makes sense. I mean, last year you kind of got paid just as much overseas, if not more, than to play here. Ramon Sessions, I think he signed somewhere. It's either the Bobcats or he's with Sessions signed somewhere.
That's an up and coming organization.
Right. Sessions signed somewhere.
You can't help but go up.
And then
Hopefully it won't go down.
I think Carl Landry's still available.
Carl Landry is still available.
Who I think is a very underrated player.
Yeah.
Jameson is rumored.
Sessions is with the Bobcats.
There you go. And Jameson's rumored all over the place. Lakers, Celtic, everywhere. But everybody's rumored with the Lakers right now. And Robin Lopez, Brooks' ugly cousin, brother.
Twin brother.
He's still out there. Right. Delonte West. The Mavericks want him back. I don't know why. So he can bang other players' wives that are mothers. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Grant Hill still has a decision to make. But by that I mean the retirement, Lakers. There's some stuff out there. So there's other players that have been talked about that aren't exactly on here. So trades, I think. Felton was traded.
Yeah, Felton's back with the Knicks, which of course made everybody wonder what's up with the Lynn thing, and now I guess the concept of that backload, that $15 million in the third year, the contract thing is enough for the Knicks to say, all right, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
So we need a backup plan because we can't get to the third year and then have to amnesty somebody we don't want to amnesty or something crazy.
Right.
Carmelo's already said goodbye to Lynn. I'm not surprised because
it never worked.
Stealing his celebrity,
Well, yeah, and to bash Carmelo on the show would be hilarious. I love.
I wouldn't do that.
No.
It'd be cool if he ate some sensible dinner though.
He lost 30 pounds. Have you not seen the best dream team to ever play? That's what we need. That's done. Drop it all. We're talking about that now.
We're talking about it now
Because somebody liked somebody's comment on Jonesin on the Whim about defending the '92 team, and I bet it was you.
Why would it be me?
Because he was overseas.
Because I love Karl Malone? I mean, what? Please.
And I truly think that...
You know I hate on oldness all the time.
No, I know. But I think the team, as constructed now, is definitely better than the team that was constructed in '92. And I could break it down by position. I could break it down by oldness. And might be a podcast for another day. But
it might be a podcast for another day.
But if you rank the top 4 players,
it's a fair argument.
I would. No, it totally is, and that's what pisses me off the most.
People acting like it's
right. People are just throwing it aside, like, oh, Kobe's insane. No, he's not. And Kobe even retracted and said, no, I'm not saying we'd beat him in the best of 7. I'm saying we'd beat him on a given night, and they certainly would. I'm sorry.
Defensively, that '92 Dream Team would be catching hell.
Right.
After the obvious.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because
and people don't want. It takes people 30 minutes to talk about it. The international game was fucking Bibby ball. It was Biddy, whatever. It was a joke. It was 10 years. I mean, it was so shitty. Of course they won by 70. Now you have Dirk. Now the best player, Tony Kukoc. That was it. That was the best player. That's the first thing for me is the competition. And yes, they won by 70 the first game, but they didn't win every game by that.
No.
And now, as the U.S. team since then has won pretty convincingly, in exhibitions and point guard. If you consider Magic point guard, fine. I still think Chris Paul's better at point guard. At that time, Magic was age-ridden, allegedly, and 32. And Chris Paul is the best point guard we may have ever seen. Certainly better than John Stockton in his little nut huggers wouldn't be able to hold Chris Paul's dick.
He would have been able to hold anybody.
No, and he didn't play because he was shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, and Karl Malone might be the most overrated basketball player of all time. Best 4, he's not even best count to 4. I mean, he's a joke. Barkley, sure, but that's how I rank. I rank it: Jordan, Barkley, Pippen as the top 3 players on that team.
Yeah.
But I'm rolling with LeBron, Durant, and Kobe. Top 3. We're good. I know that's not how we're gonna tee it up, but
yeah.
And Tyson Chandler, by the way, best defensive center of all of them.
That's true.
You would never play defense.
That's not
David
true.
Robinson was the most all-around center, and I'll give him that. But I end there. But I think Chandler could defend David Robinson. So
Yeah, it would come down. It may actually come down to the star players, and then you're talking about
Larry Bird was laying down over here.
Yeah, so you
There he is.
He showed up shooting.
And Larry's like, I don't care. I didn't even contribute when we played, so I'm not getting into this bullshit.
He's like, I'm trying to get away from the game. Quit asking me stuff about the game.
I mean,
but you start talking about Pip, Barkley, Jordan against
Michael
LeBron.
and Scotty weren't they were not only the best players on that team, the best players in the league at that time.
Yes.
And they probably still would be the best two players.
And they were primed up, too, at that time.
They
That's
were.
why...
That's it. And I love the way Coach K is doing this now, because he's not starting Durant, but he's wheeling Durant out with Westbrook and Harden, and they're just dumping on people. It's only been one game that I've seen, because tomorrow night they play again. But it's just a totally new unit, but it's a unit that's with chemistry, and they're just dumping on people. And
the 92 Dream Team, I mean, that's the most storied.
It is storied, right?
Yeah.
Storied.
But
you start looking at what we
debatable,
yeah.
Whether
And to laugh at it for Michael and Michael's ego is bigger than Texas, and that's fine. I loved him. I still do. He's the best player I've ever seen. I didn't pick up a basketball until I saw him play the game. I mean, he's amazing. But come on, I mean, LeBron might take that crown. Kobe certainly will be on the threshold of that crown, and we don't even know. Durant's a puppy. I mean, come on.
Durant is.
This team is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know why it's beautiful? Wade's not on it. Bosh isn't on it. They're all bitches at the house. Garnett should be on it for his last swan song. I would want him on this team to give him that vengeance and that fear-introducing factor that he has.
Yeah, he can't be out there cussing out people in different
Certainly won't, because that's the perfect place to do it. I don't understand what he's saying.
They can't have him on the team.
This team is ridiculous. It's deep. It's good in every way. There's scores. There's defenders. Oh, wait, you going to score? We'll put Iguodala out there. Chandler. We'll just suffocate you with great defense. This team is really, really good. And I think they would win a best-of-7 series. In fact, I'd put money on it. It's so hypothetical. But
very hypothetical.
But this is a really, really... This is the best the NBA has ever been in as far as talent.
And there's a lot of talent in the league. And then also you got to ask questions like, well, is it in the current rules? Is it back in the mugging rules where you could just bully your way up on some stuff, and if somebody roll a goal, you just elbow them in the mouth and everything's fine? Like, that stuff would matter too.
And we watched the documentary thing or whatever, and they were never challenged. The Magic was like, no look passes, all this shit. That's not going to happen today. It's not. It's not going to happen.
Because those dudes would get back in transition, then it would be an issue.
The international game is so much better. It's leaps and bounds better.
Yep.
I mean, half the league is international. That's what Stern set out to do, and that's why people hate on him, and people don't want to give him credit, but he wanted to make it a worldwide game, and he has.
He did succeed.
He put Michael on every television, every billboard he could, and they conformed to that, and they became very good basketball players. It pisses me off that they would even not to laugh at it, and then people get on national radio. Oh, they won by 25. I agree with Scotty, and I love Scotty's. To me, Scotty's the best all-around basketball player to ever play. I love him. I played like him. I married white women like him. I love the guy. He is.
You lost me.
He's the best all-around basketball player I've ever seen. With his range, with his defense, everything he did is IQ. And he got on and said 25 points because he had to say that. He doesn't believe it. Mike doesn't believe it.
And it's easy to say that when it's 20 years later and you know they're not going to play.
It's never going to happen.
Oh, yeah, we would have whooped. They wouldn't be able to deal with it.
And they will now. Now EA Sports is like, oh, shit, we got to get out. They will do a virtual game. And
yeah, what the AccuScore score results.
Right, yeah, they'll do it.
They've already done it. I think Dream Team won 53% of the time by average margin of like 1 point.
Exactly.
And I was
so it's completely
like, wow.
It's completely down the line, and I honestly don't.
Well, in a video game, the new team would win outright because of the athleticism. It would be Kurt.
It's not even fair. I mean,
That's why these comparisons between eras are always academic, because athletes get better over time. You know,
but
when you see it in track, when it's against a constant standard,
right? But
they keep getting better and better.
But 4 years ago, we'd have laughed at it. 8 years ago, certainly.
Yeah,
but now, I don't. Not only am I not laughing at it, I'd support it. I really, really think, and I've never been more engaged in the NBA than I am now.
Yeah.
Outside of when Mike and Scotty ruled the land.
Yeah, and you
because
there's a lot of things to think about. I would assume the defense would be ridiculous on both ends. Like if you say prime versus
and that's
prime.
the beauty of this new team.
And I think the new team, you start talking about jump shots then. And that new team got a lot of shooting son of bitches on that.
They do.
Team.
They really do.
And now you talk about trying
and they play defense too.
Yes.
Scotty and Michael, that's it. We're done with defense. Well, who else plays defense? Honestly.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna wheel out Chandler, and if not, Kevin Love doesn't play it, but he rebounds. He's in the way. I mean, he's the ultimate international player. He's the secret weapon, and they're gonna roll through this stupid Olympic bullshit. No one is gonna come close to them. Spain, really? People are starting to talk about Ibaka. Ibaka, down low, has no skills. He's a jump shooter, and as much as I love him, he's got no under the goal skills.
Yeah. I mean, that's some. Man, you just look at that. I'm looking at that old team.
And if you've even, I've done it. I went 1 through 11, and I tried to figure out certain lineups, and the Stockton, Leitner, and Mullen are the last three, right?
Yeah. And then you got like Clyde.
Clyde is right there. But the last three for the current team is the starting center, probably, who's still really, really good. Iguodala, who was the best defender on the team. And then Davis now? Because I would have had Griffin like 9, 10 or 9, I mean, I ranked them 1 through 11.
You know who 9 is. Harden.
No, I had him there. Yeah. No, I had him 9, but I had 10, 11, 12. I had Harden right down there. I did.
You should.
But still, he's an international player.
Yeah.
And even at the head, they just wouldn't have it. I think it would be honestly, and I'm not thinking of the current times. I'm thinking of overall.
Yeah, the pressure would be on the big men from the old team.
Right. And what is Ewing and Robinson going to do with Kevin Love shooting threes and Chandler not even mattering, just hovering, and then he's going to dunk over you?
But big guys didn't do that. In '92,
right?
I mean, it was not that they were incapable of doing it, but it wasn't part of the offense,
and that's why Robinson did, and Robinson was the most all around because he was around the basket.
Ewing was great from 20 feet.
Oh, he was
not from 3.
He was a 7-foot jump shooter. Yeah. No. That's why I don't think he would have an answer for Love, or because he was a very good jump shooter, but defensively, I mean, he wasn't. That's why now Anthony Davis is on the team and Chandler, they've got 2 7-foot legitimate bodies with length, and I think Blake Griffin's a joke, so that's why I think they upgraded just on skill level because Anthony Davis he shoots 3. He has a jump shot.
Yeah, because I couldn't.
Blake Griffin's he's so one-dimensional.
I couldn't imagine Blake playing against that dream.
No.
I think they'd kill it.
They would. They'd laugh at him.
Well, I think he'd go to the goal and they'd push him and he'd blow out both knees. And
he'd jump and hit his head on the goal.
Yeah,
he's a disaster.
1992 reffing or 2012 reffing.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what he said.
I don't think the '92 team would care. He would roll the goal out of control. They would push
just
him.
move out the way. Yeah,
he'd fall into the stands and they'd be like, blown out knees, get the card.
And my issue is depth because starting 5. Michael, Kobe.
What? Come on. It's the executive dog.
Michael,
what up, Sydney?
Michael, Kobe. Yeah, you give Mike the slight edge. Slight edge. Yeah. Point guard. Chris Paul.
Because you're talking about oldish Kobe against prime Mike. That's what you're talking about.
I know.
Which makes it kind of scary.
No, I know, but you're also talking about Kobe at 34.
Psycho
turnaround jumper. he's Michael, but with a little less talent. So.
Yeah. A little less.
Gotta let the dog go.
So point guard, I'm sorry, I don't think anyone's near Chris Paul, even Magic at that time. Because point guard. I mean,
well, he was a point guard, but he was slower and older, and he was a lot of things that it would have been bad for him to be playing against this current team.
Right.
Because there would have been a lot of size.
So at the 3, and I'm going to put LeBron at 4.
What?
So Melo at 3 versus. God, I had all this written down, but they started Larry Bird, but that's not a justification in that team.
He started 3 out of the 8 games. They kind of spread it around. Jordan started every game, but the other guys all started like 3 or 4 each.
Probably by 4s.
So Barkley, LeBron, LeBron's better. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Charles is like, you're right. Even Charles would say that. At the 3, that was some. They didn't start Scotty. They should have.
Yeah.
So I'd give Scotty an edge over Melo, but they don't even. I mean, I love Carmelo, but Scottie Pippen is, like I said,
it'd be a compelling
the basketball player.
And clearly, the next year they come out with NBA 2K13 is on.
Oh, it's on. It's it. And
they're gonna buy the license to all 13. I mean, all.
But they got to get Michael. That's the only one I got to get to.
But they already got Michael. They've had Michael the last 2 years. They already got Magic. They've already got Bird. So. Yeah,
Durant at the 3. Sorry.
Yeah, because when you got the older players, you got to get them one by one because you don't just get the Players Association like you do with the current players. So,
but
2K Sports will get it right. And
I know
we'll
Mike laughs at it, and it's fine the way the players are dealing with it, but the media be like, "Oh no, there's no way."
It's just bad.
Go back and they just showed a goddamn documentary about this team. They were old and crusty, half of them, and.
They were half playing. It was clear they were chilling more than they were playing.
Right, and they still won by whatever. But you put Michael in his prime with 4 scrubs. Yeah, he'll compete against anybody. And you add Scotty, and I still say that the 10 years. There was a 10-year period where they were the best 2 players in basketball. I don't think it was close. People talk about other players. Fuck other players. I don't give a shit. Those are the best 2 players in basketball, and I don't think it was fucking close. That's why they won. When they wanted to win, they won. And there was a lot of great players at that time. But this team now, the difference in this team now is they're not fucking around. These kids now, they're serious about.
Well, they don't have a choice.
They understand their history. They understand the history of the game. They understand their place in it. And even the 10 through 12 now, Iguodala going to ball. He's gonna play defense better than anybody on the team. I mean, they understand now. They certainly do with this comparison.
Yeah.
And Kobe wanted to put it on him. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
This is my last time. I'm certainly not going to be in the Olympics at 38. Let's just drop this. Of course we beat him. Yeah, fucking right. Why not? And then he had to, recant a little bit and say, yeah, I mean, I'm saying one night, yeah, we'll get those guys. But it's nowhere near a joke of a comment.
No,
I think that
people treated it like it was outrageous.
I think they won a best of 7. I do, and I'm not one to ignore the past, especially that's when basketball became basketball for me.
But it's just nostalgia getting out of control. That's all it is.
I mean, I don't think that all these guys can shoot the basketball. Like, I think it would get ugly. John Stockton wouldn't have a place on the court.
He couldn't play. They couldn't put him out there. He
couldn't.
He didn't play.
Right, exactly. He couldn't play at an international level. No. I mean, him and Malone will go. They're the most overrated players of all time, just because they were rated that high. Not because they weren't good players.
Yeah,
but because they were that highly rated.
Well, part of the reason too.
Barkley dominated him in practice.
Yeah. And the stuff they.
The
stuff they do or did at the time just wouldn't translate to today's game at all.
No.
Because you just can't get away with being that slow.
Well, and nobody ever took John Stockton seriously. Is he really going to make that pass? And he did. And that was a tribute to the game too. People just didn't take him seriously. He would make the stupidest obvious pass, and it would complete it because they really didn't think it would happen. Now, when guys try to do it, it's intercepted, and when they played the Bulls, it was stolen.
Because there's 3 6'6" dudes on the floor at any given time, so you can't make any.
And they had their reign. I still need to go back and figure out how John Hornacek was
Jeff.
whatever exactly.
Yeah, Jeff Hornacek was good business. But
He played defense. He guarded Scotty for a while, and they had to put Scotty on him because he was so deadly from downtown.
yes.
But that was a goofy ass fucking team, man.
Yeah.
How it ever went 6, I'll never figure out. But it's Jerry Sloan is he's wonderful as a coach, and
Yes.
Portland, many teams have called his phone, and I don't know what he's waiting for. He's waiting for some job, and I hope it's somewhere that I root for, because what a wonderful coach. And to get more out of white people than anybody ever has, as far as basketball goes, other than maybe Kentucky's coach back in the day, who was a racist prick.
Adolph Rupp?
Yeah, that scumbag.
Well,
But I just wanted to talk about that because I didn't want to seem like I was crazy, because
no,
not only I don't think it's laughable to.
you're not crazy. It would be it's not. I don't think it's a blowout either way, and if it is, it may be for the young dudes just based on the shooting.
Just
Because the level of defense from the 92 group would have to be top shelf.
and only Mike and Scotty played it, I mean, Chris Mullin was on the team. Really? I mean, am I misremembering, or was he like a monster? And
He was a shooting motherfucker.
right.
during
So
that
it's Tim
time.
Hardaway. So I mean,
Yeah.
they had a team of
Run TMC.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
and Weber came in and they were unstoppable. But as long as I'm not misremembering, but Chris Mullin was on the team. That's like now having like
Kyle
Korver.
Korver.
Yeah, exactly.
Mullin
I mean,
was-
honestly, it really is.
But
and then-
they were not trying to build the team, like,
No,
we're going to beat anybody, any year coming. This
They
was
knew
kinda
what they
like,
were dealing with.
Thank you for being
It
an
was.
NBA star for
No,
10
it definitely
years.
was. It was definitely it was a medal inside of
Here's
a
your
medal.
reward, because we know that we're going to
But
win
Chris
whatever
Mullin?
pro team we come with.
Honestly,
You get a couple
you
of
listen
this
to
and
Chris
a couple of
Mullin
that.
talk on the radio. He sounds ghetto. Like who's this guy talking? Like
He sounds really
New
super
York and
country, weird.
We're ghetto, not
Yeah.
country, but it's ghetto. Like it's. I would never guess that's like Steve Kerr being on the team today or something. Like I mean, seriously. I'm not.
Run the dog back in.
Dog alert.
Dog. Oh.
Dog excitement alert.
This. I mean, they involve just about go.
Yeah, 2K13 will come out and we'll get to play it and it'll be awesome.
I mean, there's 11 guys on this team, and they're about the 11 I would choose for the most part. I mean, I can't think of. I mean, we could dissect it, but
I won't harden out that team. Go ahead.
No, he's perfect for it. Just because they can put a second unit out there that's basically the Thunder, and fuck with Ibaka. And when Spain's our only competition. Let's not kid ourselves. That's it. It's Spain. And I don't even know if the Gasol brothers are playing this year. So without them, they're absolutely nothing. So, and I know Gonzo is probably not playing. He's 100. So
Well, he's Argentinian.
that's what I'm saying. That's another team that you have to look out for. But I guess we're getting up against it. So we've been up against it.
Oh, you're saying you're done talking about the Dream Team?
Yeah. But I mean,
I don't think he is.
For now?
what do you? I mean, you haven't really.
It's an interesting discussion. I may not have said as much because it's now 1:40 a.m. in Amsterdam.
But
and I'm losing steam.
But to waver at all on to think that laughable.
I concur with your assessment.
By the way, the Gasol brothers are playing.
With Ibaka.
Yeah. That's
So is that their front? Is it their front line?
You think so? Well, let's see. Spain.
Yeah, it's not that important.
Oh, now you draw the line.
I see.
Well, no, I mean, I don't. This team now, it's on a mission to prove that not only are we going to defeat the world.
Well, they can, waste the entire, schedule, and these arguments will still persist forever.
Well, that's very true, but now they want to win by 70.
Yes.
They'll use that a little bit, and there's no reason they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So,
More power to them.
Right? Yeah, we'll be rooting for 'em.
Uh-huh.
And our final segment, we do a tribute every week. I had one on Wednesday, and things have changed since then. But not really. Not for us. Not for me. Something passed away over these last 3 or 4 months, and it's the reputation of Drew Brees in New Orleans.
Oh,
it's dead. It's dead for me. He's since signed a deal, but his greed oversees all of it.
What if they go 15-1 this year?
See that, I was talking to my mom last night, and I was trying to. It didn't come to me till just being in a conversation about it, because she was like, "Well, a lot of people don't feel that way, you know." And I said, "No, you're right." But I think what changes is the way I've always been. I've always been critical about him because it's me. I'm critical of everybody, but but those 3 interception games that we lose, that they would hang on anyone else, and then I would post on Facebook, "Can we finally hold Drew accountable?" And I would get Facebook raped. That's gone. Those days are over for him. The fans would be like, "Whoa, he made $100 million. He should be, you know, he should win the games." And so I think his image is still intact, but his forgiveness and his unaccountability is gone.
Well, that comes with any huge contract. I mean, regardless of how much of a bitch you were, trying to get it.
Right. No, I know. Yeah. And I think those days are over. So me posting, he Drew threw 3 picks, we lost. It's on him.
You won't get raped on Facebook.
Right. It won't be, it'll be like, "Yo, you're right." Yeah. Finally, I won't be the idiot when he has lost as many games for us as he's won. Almost statistically, you can look at it. He's done that over the past 5 years that he's been with us, 6 years that he's been in New Orleans. So he'll be held a lot more accountable going forward, and he should be. I'll never look at him the same. But he's a great quarterback, and I just thought he was a great person, and that ideology is wavering. And to something you might enjoy is I use Tom Brady as an example.
Yeah.
And the years that he takes pay cuts year in and year out to bring talent around him.
Yeah.
I'd like that, around me. Hey, Tom Brady's wife's slightly hotter.
Now you can tell Brady he's frustrated that they haven't won a Super Bowl in 8 years. He's like, we've had some damn good teams.
Yeah, 16-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we still haven't won the Super Bowl since then. So
yeah, and he takes a pick every year.
Having 3 rings, he's definitely not taking that for granted. No. He's still thinking team first. So.
Always.
Yeah.
He's the epitome. At this point in their career, Drew might be better as a player, but as a person, I don't see him that way anymore.
Yeah.
So sorry, New Orleans. But I can wear his jersey proud because it's not a jersey I don't feel unfit to wear or unworthy of wearing because I'm a better man. So, and that's half the tribute, but a bigger tribute for us. And I almost made it to the state of the art, but Bill Cosby turned 75 this week.
Yeah.
And I mean, as and we did talk about the Dream Team. We talked about basketball, but and baseball and blacks and baseball. But what Bill Cosby did in, I guess, the early '80s to their early '90s,
yeah,
was redefine how we looked at Black Americans. I guess. I mean, and Michael made it. They redefined or made race it's a term I use all the time, but you didn't see a black man, you saw a man, and that's what Michael did on the basketball court. White America embraced him as much as, Chicago, of all the shittiest places in America, it's one of the shittiest.
How did they do it?
Ridiculous, horrible people. And they redefined what you saw. You saw a man. You didn't see a black man,
Yeah.
And that started back. Obviously the Kill a Mockingbird movies and stuff like that where it started, but it was solidified. Bill Cosby was your father. He was your television dad.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it just redefined that you broke the cultural barrier. I can't think of what.
Had the most popular sitcom, out there for a
Decade,
while.
yeah.
And
it was a black family, a successful black family, which 60% of America didn't think was real or could happen, and which is obviously ridiculous. And sadly, that still is probably the case today.
Mm-hmm.
But he broke down the cultural barrier. Maybe that's it. And especially me not having an actual real figure to lean on. I looked to Bill for. There was always a lesson. It was great parenting. They had all the wife was a lawyer. He was a doctor. They had all the money in the world, but they instilled the values in their kids. That this is our money. You don't have shit. You have to. You don't have anything. You need to go rake the leaves and get a job and it was a beautiful blueprint for any family and any time and any state.
And none of the characters were like completely off the wall.
Right.
Like they're all really grounded kids.
Regardless, yeah.
But they still were kids, and
they still had their moment, right? They had to bring them back down.
I remember Theo saying in one episode, he's like,
"Would you have died?" Yeah,
he's thinking about Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah,
thinking about getting older, and he's saying, I thought this out, Dad, and I think you peak at 26. After that it's just downhill. So I gotta work. I gotta get my stuff done by the time I'm 26.
Right.
Cosby's little look on his face.
But the best was when the kids when we were young. Rudy was like, well, we had this house and we have all this money, and Bill and Claire was they were both this is our money. This is our house. You own nothing.
You have nothing.
You have nothing.
You are here by our
None of this is yours. This is all.
In fact, your existence.
Your mother and ours. You have none of this. It's your mother and ours.
Yeah, that was a great show.
It was, and
he's. Cosby, since he, doesn't do comedy so much anymore. He's still kind of like a voice.
He tries, yeah.
He tries to. He's controversial.
He is. He is.
The stuff he says.
He has been, yeah.
But maybe he sounds a little more like the grandfather than the dad nowadays. So a little more crotchety, I suppose. But
he has. Yes, you're right. You're right. He's been a little racier.
Yeah.
Not as far as human race wise, but racier.
Yeah. I actually went to grade school with a couple of his kids, a couple of his daughters, for a couple of years.
Because I know his son.
They lived in that general area of Massachusetts
California.
for a while.
Yeah, because Temple's in Philly, so I know.
Yeah. But they lived in Western Mass for several years, I think.
That's cool.
That's my 6 degrees of
right.
Kevin Bacon.
right. It's like 1 degree. But no, he turned 75, and I had the Drew Brees good reputation passing, which I think still is.
Still applies.
Yeah. But that's it. Number 10.
Hey, a couple things.
Okay. One thing.
Breaking Bad tonight, season 5. Awesome show. Back on.
I need to watch one of them.
I
haven't seen it.
And unfortunately, I never finished season 3.
Now season 4 is on Netflix too. They announced that today.
Okay.
Thanks guys.
Yeah.
Now I gotta watch. The people who hadn't seen it, I gotta watch a whole season in one day, which is easy to do with that show.
Or just set the DVR for 5 and take your time with season 4. But I love that show.
So that's back on, and then Dark Knight.
No, I think next week's podcast will be thrown into a slight loop because I'm hoping we all have seen Dark Knight Rises by there.
I hope
so. The rumors are flying. I don't care what direction they go. I just want to see the direction and be the best 2 hours and 45 minutes I've had in a long time. So,
but what's the status of it now? Do you got to slap somebody to get a ticket for it, or
I don't know. I bought mine over a month ago.
See, I didn't do that.
I got my seat reserved. Front center, studio movie grill.
I didn't do that.
They know my food order, my drink order. I'm ready. And I'm saying it as I say it now. If Stefan and I win trivia, I get a little momentum going. We might go Thursday night at midnight.
Wow, conceivable.
We just might do it.
Or at 3 a.m. Remember that? Transformers.
Because that's what you're really talking about.
Right.
Holy shit. It's gonna be 3 o'clock when we come out of the movie if we see the midnight one. So,
right.
Let me know about that because I'm gonna be working late.
But no, it's the Bills. and get more excited.
Guess how many movies I saw on my flights this past week.
6 there, 6 back.
Oh no, it's not
Four
that long
there.
of a flight.
Because they put like sitcoms.
4 there, 3 back. No,
Okay.
but full length movies. I didn't watch any of the TV shows, but 7 movies total.
They're fairly recent releases, right?
Yeah. I mean, actually, United. We dump on them a lot, but they had new releases on there. Recent stuff. I won't repeat them all here because we've been talking enough.
We're up against it.
Yeah.
And I'm the one biggest complaint of these at the time. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to work on that, but
We went to town.
that's on me. But so that's it. Number 10 in the books. We'll close you with a little Cosby opening. And I'm off to the Dynamo game. Actually, I'm going to pee first because God, I really need to pee.
Good idea.
And but other than that, number 11 next week, we'll be reviewing Dark Knight and another NFL division, and maybe the Sheik is back alive with some.
Which division we doing next
What
week?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
Not y'all. I didn't put him in order. I just wanted, kind of wanted to AFC East, South, and then as a last.
Yeah.
Because it's more personal. But if we do the try.